Hello, everyone, and welcome back to what is apparently Honor Thy podcast. I am your host, Deck, otherwise known as the infamous Granny Fucker. With me, as always, is the always lovable Love Sausage,
Yep,
and of
I'm
course,
here.
the oiest oi that ever did oi, that cunt over there on the far right.
Evening, cunts. How are we all doing?
I'm fine,
Evening,
cunt.
cunts.
That was actually that was a weird format change. I introduced Dan first. That's bizarre.
Well, I mean, on my screen it does go you, me, then Hoss, so it made sense.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just so used to going to Hoss first.
Yeah.
That was that threw my brain off.
I mean,
But in
maybe if
case-
Hoss joined before me, he would be second, but Hoss is
Yeah,
always
yeah.
last, so it's Hoss's
exactly.
fault.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
In case you hadn't noticed by our names or the overuse of the word cunt, today we are going to be talking about The Boys
Porn.
Season 3. Now, this is actually quite cool because we actually did a Season 2 spoiler cast way back when. Before COVID, boys. Before COVID. And now with Season 3, which is now fully wrapped up about a week or two ago, this has just been, in my opinion, not only would I say this is the best season of The Boys for me personally, but this is one of the best seasons of a show I have seen in a long time. I absolutely loved this season through and through. There was very little that I disliked about it, if anything, really. And it was one of those shows that I genuinely was so excited week to week. I just wanted that next episode. I was constantly thinking about it week to week. And for a show on streaming, that's what it should do. And The Boys did that and delivered in spades. I just think the show, like with all of its storylines, everything in it, all the acting, performances, the story, the characters, everything. I think this show is just at the top of its game right now. And obviously it has been renewed for a season 4. I can't wait to see what that does. But yeah, for me, I think that this season of The Boys it was perfect, to be honest.
And we got the spin-off coming.
And we've got the spin-off coming.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with you, mate. Like, this season has been so good. The only negative I'd honestly have about the season is the episodes, and in terms of how they came out and how we got 3 episodes to start with. Now, don't get me wrong, I loved it in terms of I've watched all 3 episodes in one day. But then I was also like, when it came to the finale and I realized it was the finale, I was like, oh shit, we've already got to the end. Like, after this episode, there's not another season until like at least a year. But yeah, I don't know about you guys. Like, did you like the way it came out, or would you prefer that it came out like all in one go and you just binge it, or did you want like literally 1 episode each week?
I personally would probably have liked. I have no problem with the way it released necessarily, but I probably would have liked it just to have been maybe 1 episode just per week, just to make it last that little bit longer. I mean, ultimately, I feel like the way you release it, if you release like multiple episodes at once, it kind of depends on how you've written it in the story. So, like for example, I think that's like when you start like WandaVision, for example, they released the first 2 episodes when that show dropped, and that made a lot of sense in regards to like where the story ended after that second episode, and then it went to week, because those first 2 episodes kind of really went together.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't feel like the first 3 episodes of The Boys necessarily fitted together in that same perfect way. But I didn't really have a problem with it necessarily. Like I binged all 3 of those episodes.
Yeah.
Well, it was a few days after it came out. So I had to wait a few extra days, but I binged them all together, and then week to week, I just couldn't bloody wait. I couldn't wait for those next episodes.
Yeah, man.
Nah, I never really had a problem with the release schedule, to be honest with you, because like I didn't have a problem with it with season 2, because season 2 was the same. It was 3 episodes that were released at once, and then it was like week by week until the finale. So I've never really had a problem with it. I think because I actually kind of disagree a little bit in the sense that I do actually think the first 3 episodes kind of really form. They serve quite well to have been released all at once, because it had the setup for Soldier Boy, it had the setup for Newman, it had the setup for Homelander, basically taking advantage of the bluff that they had at the end of season 2, the stuff with Starlight. So I actually do think that all of those the first 3 episodes actually story-wise, it made sense to release them all at once because it basically was 3 episodes worth of like really good setup for the rest of the season. So in that regard, I didn't actually have a problem with it. I actually quite like this release form because it kind of like you can take your cake and eat it because you get the multiple episodes at once, which is what you get obviously with what Netflix always do with the releases for most of the shows. But then you also have kind of like the bi-weekly stuff. You know, you have the hype going into it, and it means that if you've not something, you're not going to have someone who's like 15 episodes in front of you because they've all been released at once. So I actually didn't mind it. I quite like it for a change, and I think especially with the case of The Boys, because I was literally up at the crack of dawn every morning to watch the episode as it aired. It didn't really bother me because I was never spoiled for it because I literally woke up at stupid o'clock to watch the episodes. So it didn't really bother me. I was fine with it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, avoid spoilers and stuff like that, man. And like with the finale, it came out like just after 12. I think I'd been out and I got home where I was kind of tired, but I was also like, oh, it's the finale. It's an hour. Maybe I could watch it. And I sort of got ready and then went to sit down and then started yawning. I was like, nah, I need to go to bed because I can't watch the finale and like fall asleep. So I was like, fine, I'm going to just mute The Boys on Twitter and then just watch it when I can. Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, I've said this multiple times and I've probably mentioned this to you guys before, but I hate binging stuff. Like I physically struggle to do it. And also for me personally, I just enjoy TV and content so much more when it's broken up. Because if I watch something all at once, I do not take it in anywhere near as much. I don't remember it anywhere near as much. And I think you can see this reflected in Netflix. Like when a Netflix show comes out, it drops all at once. People will, if it's a big one, people will maybe talk about it for like that week and then it's gone. People don't really talk about it anymore. The Boys was consistently spoken about each week until it finished. And it's still being spoken about now.
Yeah.
I still see it on Twitter now. And I think
so
Netflix,
many people are starting just to watch it.
And I think Netflix has proven themselves as well, because with Stranger Things 4, even though I've not seen any of Stranger Things 4 yet, but they did break that up a little bit, obviously with like sort of part 1 and part 2. And I think that did help them. I think it did help with like, you know, keeping that conversation going and keeping it in kind of the in sort of the I don't know what the word is. You know what I'm trying to say. Keeping it in the conversation, basically.
Though the 2-hour like season finale definitely could have been at least 3 episodes. Like when watching it, I could easily find a part where if you really wanted to, you could stop it and then go off to like work or whatever and do whatever you wanted. It was definitely too long, man, because I didn't go to bed till like 2 watching that. And I was like, I'm kind of committed now. I need to watch this and finish it. But yeah, I was like sitting there, like sort of sleeping a bit. And then woke up and was like, okay, pause it. Quickly ran out into my garden, like did a few laps in my garden and came back in and finished it. Yeah. And didn't you literally binge the rest of the Flash deck?
I did binge the Flash. Yeah. When it came to watching.
And now he remembers nothing about it at all.
I mean, I did binge watch like the last, I think it was like 6 or so episodes, but that was also because I did that for a reason. That was because the finale was literally that night and I wanted to watch it and catch up before then. Had that not been the case, I wouldn't have done. And also, to be fair, what helped it was the fact that those last handful of episodes of The Flash season 8 were really, really good in my opinion.
Good way you kept carrying on,
I actually just genuinely did want, like, so even if I would have started, I think I wouldn't have wanted to stop anyway, just because they were really bloody good episodes for me.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, obviously, us talking on camera and stuff like that all started with the Arrowverse with Arrow, and I think the perfect example I have of this is Arrow. I binge watched the first 4 seasons of Arrow together, and I then started watching the show from season 5 onwards. And if you told me to like name an episode in season 5 onwards, I could probably tell you what that episode was and what it was about. If you try and tell me with the first 4 seasons, bar a few exceptions, I probably couldn't. And that's just because I binged it. So it all kind of bleeds together for me.
Yeah. I tell like I'm sort of the same. It depends on the show. It depends on how long an episode is. If it's like 40 minutes, I can kind of do it. If you're encroaching on like an hour-long episode,
that is pushing
I'm like I can probably do maybe 1 or 2 depending on the time. But like, I don't know, Hosh, you obviously watch it, but Cobra Kai, I binge watch the seasons as soon as they come out, man. It's too tempting. As soon as that little medallion comes up at the end, and then the music comes on, and it says next episode, I press next episode, and I'm on it.
That's that's literally the only show that I know of to date where it's like I've binged the whole season like in one day. It's because of the fact that like most of the episodes are like 30 minutes long anyway, and because of the way that they're structured, like it's so fast paced that you feel the urge to do it anyway. Like it's got such a good pace to it. So like a show like that makes sense. And then on the opposite end, like you say, like Stranger Things, like this last season, it was like I could not binge that at all because it's like the episodes are too long. You can't do it. It's basically like binging 9 movies at once. It's literally equivalent of doing that.
Yeah, I literally only binge watched part 2 because
it was the only one you could realistically do.
It was because of the hype, and I kind of wanted to watch it because everybody at work literally created like a spoiler chat in our Slack channel, and I was like, I need to be a part of that because I'm seeing there was 100 replies and I couldn't look at them. Like I had to watch it, man. Yeah, but yeah, like The Boys, I feel like it isn't. I don't know. Maybe when I go back to watch it, I'll possibly binge watch 1 or 2 episodes. But yeah, I'm kind of happy with how it was released. To be fair.
Yeah, I think it was just handled really, really well. And I for me personally, like I said, I think the weekly release strategy is not only better for viewers, but I think it's better for the studio as well. I think it just benefits them so much more. And I think as well, because Netflix were kind of the first major streaming service and they were the ones to kind of bring forward this whole, we'll drop it all at once thing. That was kind of, I think that was kind of taken as, that's the way it is on streaming. But now when you've got Amazon and Disney Plus, and I think Paramount Plus do the same thing, where they started to release them weekly, almost like it was TV. I think audiences have started to realize, perhaps we actually do like this more, because I've seen that kind of turn around. Like it used to be a thing where people always like, I love binging, blah, blah, blah. But now I've seen a lot more people actually say, I actually kind of prefer the weekly release model. And I'm certainly one of those people, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I think with The Boys as well, in terms of the weekly release, like if you've been following their like Twitter, in that sort of each week, they kind of had a specific post from that Vought one that was like, when Starlight went up against Homelander and came public, they made a statement on Twitter, which I was like, that is such good marketing. It was so good. And if they didn't do it weekly, that'd be weird. Could you imagine like 2 days into it being released, they suddenly just put that comment, but you hadn't watched that episode yet? You'd be like,
it wouldn't work at all.
That marketing team is
brilliant. Honestly. And the best bit is all the responses and the fact they like act as if they're actually in the universe. So it's like Starlight is a liar. It's like, I believe Starlight. It's like, it's so bloody good. It's like you can only get that only works because of the release structure. And honestly, like it's so funny to see it, but it's also such good marketing. And it's like you see the YouTube videos they put on the Snapchat ones of like all the promotional
TikTok
stuff with the Seven. Like honestly, it's so good. I love it so much.
Who else really wants that Seven film? Like,
I will pay good money for that film. I will pay good money for it.
Honestly,
I would love if they released that. That would have been incredible. Yeah. Like almost like a I think that would be something amazing for them to do in between season 3 and season 4 if they just got the cast together. It was like we're gonna do like an hour and a half comic book movie with these guys. Like, I think that'd be so cool. I mean, I know obviously they got the spin-off in the works, and I don't know, is Diabolical getting a second season? I don't know.
I think so.
So they've got
I hope so. That was really cool. That was really good.
To be fair, after finishing season 3, I realized I haven't actually seen Diabolical yet.
Oh man,
and I really want to watch it now.
Yeah.
Because it looks really, really fun. But yeah, so they got stuff going on. But I thought it'd be really cool, like say, just do like a 90-minute, really fast-paced, like just fun action film with the cast would be really, really cool.
Yeah. Like a season 3.5 or something, basically. Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty cool. So let's, I guess, sort of dive into the season itself and some of the major talking points. We sort of said this before we started recording, but I don't actually have any notes. The only person who does is Shotgun.
Just little bullet points.
Yeah, I've just sort of got things in my head really that I've just been. I mean, I'll be honest. When we were meant to record this like a week ago, and then I had to end up having to go elsewhere during the evening. But that day when I was in work, before I knew I had to leave, I literally basically did this entire podcast in my head when I was putting stock out in the shop I work in.
Nice.
I literally did it in dialogue like the entire time in my own head, and now all that has just gone. But yeah, so it might be a little rough around the edges here, but I'm sure we always tend to do quite well with that stuff. I think
I'd also like to let you know, sorry, whilst I was making notes as well, your boy Shotgun Dan may be bringing back a little segment he likes to call Would You Rather?
Oh no, this is the worst one.
Mate, you think my Arrowverse ones are diabolical. This is the boys. I can say whatever I want.
I'm so scared.
Mate, I have a lot of time on the tube to think and contemplate. Yeah.
I feel like the heat really got to you on that tube.
Oh,
mate,
God.
you know when I'm on the tube and I just DM you on Twitter coming up with the stupid stuff like the freaking Cisco verse and the Fong verse and shit.
Oh.
I don't even know if Host knows.
I don't think he even knows what that is. No.
Eobot Fong.
The name. I'm leaving the stream. Goodbye. There we go. Leave. Honestly.
Eobot Fong. I forgot about it.
I think the heat wave got to you more than you realise, Dan. I think it's scrambled your brain a little bit.
Mate, literally, it just unlocked the mental parts of me and just like elevated it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Well, make sure you stay tuned for that because it's going to be the highlight of the episode as always. So anyway, starting off with I think probably the major kind of thing going into this season, I think, is our boy Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy.
Let's get a one of those podcasts pie in there, mate. Yeah.
Soldier Boy, obviously being, in typical The Boys fashion, all of these super characters are all kind of, riffs on other comic book characters. Soldier Boy mostly kind of being this universe's version of Captain America. Also has kind of shades of Winter Soldier and kind of Wolverine a little bit in this particular adaptation. But Jensen Ackles, when he was cast, obviously it was quite a big thing. Eric Kripke being a once showrunner of Supernatural, now coming on to be the showrunner of The Boys. It kind of made a lot of sense that he would get Jensen Ackles on here as kind of Jensen's next big role after Supernatural, because it only recently ended, of course. And Soldier Boy coming in was just epic, in my opinion. He was so good. I was kind of worried about like how they were going to portray him, because obviously he's kind of pitched as being like, he was Homelander before Homelander. He's kind of this OG Vought superhero. Like he was like the first one. And he had like his own team and stuff. But the way they used him in the season, I just thought was brilliant. And I think the way Jensen Ackles plays it, being this kind of like, he's basically like your war veteran granddad, but he looks like Jensen Ackles. He's racist, he's homophobic, he's transphobic, he's all the things that your granddad is. But he can also just kill anyone. Was pretty insane, and I just loved everything they did with him. I thought he was fantastic, and I love his costume. Like, I think it looks great. Obviously with like the shield and stuff. Just his look was just perfect. And yeah, I think Jensen Ackles, like the way they wrote him and the way that he plays him was exactly spot on and ideal for what this character needed to be. And even though I'm not sure if we're going to see Soldier Boy again, we might do. If this is the only season we get him, I think we got plenty, in my opinion, for like what his role was within the season.
No, I think it's so good, because like I didn't know what they were going to do with him, because I know that in the comics he's just basically kind of like this like side character who basically just looks up to Homelander. So basically I think we all knew it was going to be very different from like the comic book version anyway, so I was curious about that. But I honestly love that they had him as kind of this wild card. You didn't really know what to think about him. Like one week you saw one side to him, the other week in the next episode you saw like a different side to him. And I thought the way they did that was really cool, because it always kept you on your toes. You never knew if he was on Butcher's side. You never knew if he was using Butcher, whether he was secretly with Homelander. And then like Jensen Ackles, as again, like I've not really seen him that much in Supernatural. I got to like up to the end of season 5 of Supernatural, then I stopped watching. I got up to that point and stopped. What are you shaking your head for? That was the best part of Supernatural, bro. That was when it was supposed to end. Calm down. Chill out, bro. Chill out. Your boy Eric Kripke left and he knew it was shit.
You haven't seen like peak Jensen Ackles, mate. You need to go
No.
back.
That's no. I saw Supernatural at its peak. I didn't need to see Jensen Ackles at his peak because this was his peak. He was so good in this. Like, genuinely, he was amazing in this. He was so good because, like, it's so different. Because even I remember from the first 5 seasons of Supernatural what it was like in Matt. This is such a different character, and I'm so happy that he was able to portray like this completely different side of what he can do acting wise. I thought he was brilliant. Like, definitely like one of the 3 standouts of this season. The other one being, you know, your boys from New Zealand, you know, the co-leads of the show. But honestly, like Jensen Ackles, he's right up there. I think he was amazing, and I love Soldier Boy so much. And like I say, even if we don't see him next season, I still think what we got with him in this season was good enough that you could put that to bed and I'd be fine with it because I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, like going on if we see him next season, I don't know, maybe give him like a season's break and bring him back on season 5 because it's going to be like we've already had 1 season of him. Do you really want to like, what's the word, like? I know, like
overdo it, I suppose.
Yeah, like overdo
have too much of a good thing. Yeah,
exactly. Where then season 5, it's like, okay, the whole thing of Soldier Boy has now like that's worn off us now. Like we've got too much of it. Whereas get him to come back in possibly like a season 5 or like the final season, or maybe chuck him over to like Gen V or something where he shows up in like that or something. Yeah, I definitely think we are going to.
What do you want to bet that in Gen V we get a riff on that scene in Spider-Man: Homecoming? You know, where Captain America does like the videos and he sits there. Yeah.
Honestly,
but it's Jensen Ackles.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. Please give me that. Pitch that to Eric Kripke right now. Tell him that I'm making like a Photoshop of that and I'm sending it to Eric.
The thing is, the man's that smart. He's probably already done it. He's
already done it.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Oh my God, that'd be amazing. I think we will see him again. He obviously, like, spoiler alert, he didn't die. Like, we saw him get taken away. So,
I'm shocked he didn't die. I thought he was going to.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of glad he didn't, just because I think he was so good. And I really do need just more Jensen Ackles, more Soldier Boy. Like quickly. You like he already took my love Chantel away from me in The Boys. So like, if he'd taken Jensen from me, I probably just would have given up on the show. To be honest, that's one of my notes: is the lack of Chantel. Eric Kripke, bring her back in some capacity.
What do you mean? What do you mean? She was back. You did a voice in episode 2.
A voice, mate. A voice. Bring her back, mate. Yeah.
I think one thing that the Boys does incredibly well is it has such a large ensemble cast, but it no one kind of feels like
left
filler
out
characters, like or left out or underserved. Like I feel like, I mean, obviously certain characters get more screen time than others, obviously, but I feel like everyone gets served really, really well. And I feel like with adding in someone like Soldier Boy, I feel like his story was very much appropriate for this season. So to kind of write him out this time, even if he does come back at some point, I think is really, really smart, because then it allows them to obviously just work on other characters in the time being. Same with like Maeve, like they sort of write Maeve out in this season as well. And that's one thing, like a massive prop I have to give to the show. And I don't think a lot of shows can say this unless you're like a diehard fan of it, which is that there are so many shows and even like films and stuff where you watch them and it might cut to a certain story or a certain character and you think, oh, I'm not as interested in this bit, or that was never the case with it. Like I love every character. I was interested in every story. Like there was never a moment where it cut to a certain storyline and I was like, oh, I can sort of maybe tune out of this bit, or I don't really care so much. I was invested all the way, the entire way. Just because even when you look at like a story like Frenchie and Kamiko's, for example, which is far more personal and far more smaller scale than a lot of everything else going on, I just love those two. They're so great. They're so wholesome. Him and his Monker, I just absolutely love it. And anytime it cut to them, I was just like, I'm happy. And it was the same with every story. and I think that's a big prop to the show that I don't think a lot of people give it enough credit for.
Yeah, I think The Boys, they easily introduce new characters, new actors who, say, being big actors, you think would overshadow certain, like, say, smaller ones, but they really don't. Like, the writing is done so well to say these smaller characters that they still get to shine. And then you look at them, some of the stars that have been on The Boys have then gone on and are doing, like, big things now and, like, moving on and getting, like, recognition, which is really good. Yeah, that's just, like, credits to the writers, man, and probably, like, credit to Eric Kripke, who is just, like, if you've watched Supernatural, is, like, one of the GOATs. Yeah.
I think, just seeing, like, say, these actors who, I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like, Carl Urban was obviously, like, a pretty huge star before this anyway. So the fact that he kind of came in to do this was pretty huge. But even, like, Anthony Starr has obviously gained so much from this. He's going to be in Guy Ritchie's new film, so that's something. And like I say, there are rumors he's going to be in the MCU soon, as in Blade, apparently. Whether that ends up being true, who knows?
What's the Guy Ritchie film he's doing?
I don't know. There isn't really a lot of details on it at the minute.
Yeah, I know it's filming. I know it was filming in Spain, wasn't it? Because I know it was shooting out there in Spain, and I know he's like one of the main stars of it.
Yeah, because that was where Anthony Starr got in a bit of trouble.
Oh, what was it doing that film?
Yeah, he was in Spain filming it, and then like there was some sort of altercation where he hit someone apparently.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so glad that nothing.
Don't mess with Homeland.
Yeah, I'm so glad nothing else came about that, where it was like he's fully arrested and he's like fucked up and done like a. Let's not say his name because he may pop up behind us and kill us. But that guy that is like the Flash, that isn't Grant Gustin, that bloke. Yeah, I'm so glad he didn't do like that. Yeah, because man, I could never imagine like standing a certain actor or something, and then they do that, man.
Yeah,
it's always upsetting, but it seems like perhaps that situation was maybe a lot, less kind of murky than something else. Seemed like it was pretty cut and dry. So hopefully that's all been resolved and all parties are okay.
Man, like Anthony Starr didn't go on his Instagram and be like, "You can't get me, please. I can do whatever I want with him." Like, for the building.
This is to a ripping session answer against Ezra Miller.
You can't say the name.
You can't say it.
Cut that.
Dan, what's that behind you?
You'll see the screen go to black. You'll know why.
You should literally do. This little background you love doing, Dan. You should just do that. But just Ezra Miller behind you.
If Ezra Miller pops up behind me, Anthony Starr will come over and beat him up like he does on Banshee. Lucas Hood. He'll just beat him into a pulp. We're all good, guys. He knows I'm his biggest fanboy. He's here to protect me.
Yeah. See, this is one thing I think we can all be very glad of, is the fact that hopefully this show will get more people to watch Banshee, because
honestly, like I've had so many people actually come onto my Banshee videos since The Boys season 3 has come out, and it's been like I watched The Boys, I saw Anthony Starr, I watched Banshee, and it's just like, it's honestly so good to see, because I feel like it's like steadily gone up since The Boys started. Like I know a few people were saying like, "Oh, I love Anthony Starr," and then people are like recommending Banshee. It's like every year upon year, it's like the show gets more notoriety, and I love it. I mean, it's taken damn too fucking long, because this year it'll be like 9 years since it started, so it's taken too long for my liking. But like, I'm happy that it's getting the recognition it deserves. I'm happy that he's starting to get like the big roles now, because there was like a period like after Banshee where he did nothing for like 3 years, and I was like, please don't tell me he's quit acting, because I'll cry if he does. So like, no, I'm happy about it, man. And honestly, like, I'd even go as far as I think what he's doing as Homelander surpasses what he did in Banshee, because like genuinely, like again this season, it's mind blowing. Like he's such a great villain. I genuinely argue he's one of the best villains in TV, maybe ever, because there's so many layers to it. It's like, even though he's such a horrible character, and you want to see him get taken down, at the same time you don't, because the man is just so amazing in that role, and just watching him and Billy go against each other, it's just like, it was so good. I was going to speak about it in Herogasm, but I'm sure we'll talk about Herogasm its own separate thing, because that deserves like its own separate talking point, because that episode just made me feel things that no man should ever feel while watching a TV show. The real hero-gasm was the last 5 minutes.
Oh yes, yeah. I mean, it's one of the things with Anthony Starr. I mean, I sort of was going to talk about him in his own separate point, but I guess we're all sort of there. He's such a rarity, really, as an actor. Like, I mean, obviously, we loved him from Banshee anyway, but like, he really leveled up with this show, and I think, oh god,
it doesn't fucking work. It doesn't work. I tried to get his mugshot.
His mugshot.
Yeah.
You tried.
With
the mugshot.
And now I need to delete that photo off my computer. Otherwise, the police are going to come after me. Check my hard drive. See all the octopus porn I've also got on there as well. Yeah,
awful,
mate. I love this podcast already. I love how just out of control it is. It's great.
What happens when we go off script, guys? When we go off script, there's no plan. Nothing's organised.
Could you imagine
what his porn searches are?
Could you imagine though if we legit had like a script and we had to like line by line say what we wanted to say, just like, I really like Jensen Ackles. What about you, Hoss?
It's so boring. That's why I always said, and this is, I think the best way that these podcasts work, and I think this is the same with any podcast, is when like it is just chaos and people just say whatever, talk over each other.
Yeah, man.
That's why, I mean, obviously me and Hoss have done this for a good few years together now. And then when we brought you on, Dan, and Hoss will probably remember this, the first time we ever recorded with you, after we recorded, I said to Hoss, I was like, we need him on more. Because I was like, he gets it.
Oh man, I love that. No, thank you guys. Like I always think that sometimes like if I'm like gonna interject on you and I don't know whether to not, but
that's just part of the plan. That's just part of the plan. There is no plan.
Yeah, because you literally, I swear to God, like on the first time we recorded, you were literally like interrupting us both, and I genuinely was like, he gets it.
I love that. And mate, he's not here yet, but our little number one fan is always like, he always gives me the hype that I need and just raises my ego a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, mate, I said it to you, Dave, you need to check out the Always Sunny podcast because it's basically like us, where all they do is kind of shout over each other, interrupt each other, and it's just chaos and it's great. And that's the way this needs to be done.
But that's the thing. I mean, I've started watching It's Always Sunny, so I do need to have a look at that.
It's really good, man.
Yeah. But yeah, talking about, like I say, Anthony Starr, he's just top notch. And I saw an interesting story recently that apparently he very nearly didn't take this role. He said that when his agent gave it to him, and he obviously had it pitched to him as being a superhero show, he was like, yeah, it's not really my thing. I don't really want to do it. And then obviously he sort of read the material and went, oh, this is different. this is quite different. And I think, to be honest, had you have maybe given him any other character on the show, I'm not sure if he would have actually gone for it. But because you gave him the most despicable, the most horrible character possible, he was like, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Because I saw an interview back when season 2 came out. I think it was around Comic-Con time. The cast kind of did this thing where they were like, oh, who is the most like their character? And everyone instantly went Anthony. Without hesitation.
Yeah. If you've seen like some of Jack Quaid's videos where he does that one where they're in the taxi and he's like, I'm here with one of the stars of the boys, Mr. Anthony Starr. Your name's Starr, and he's like, what's your favorite thing about working on the boys? It's like, not doing any scenes with fucking you. Which is also a contradiction because this season he's done like the most scenes with Huey.
Yeah, I know,
yeah. I love the cast so much, man. They're
brilliant.
So fun. Just watching them like on social media is just so great. And I guess going back to Anthony as well, like with Carl, I can imagine Carl was the same as when he read the script of The Boys. He was probably like, oh, another superhero thing. Like I've already done 4, maybe not. And then picked this and definitely probably saw it and went, that's fucking diabolical, mate. I mean,
it definitely was that. I mean, I actually tweeted this the other day because I rewatched Ragnarok right before Thor: Love and Thunder, and
same.
It's kind of wild how much like Butcher he is in that movie.
Yeah.
Like he has the accent and he kind of has the personality of Butcher in that movie. It's kind of what I never noticed it until I rewatched it.
Yeah, he has a line where he goes, well, and I didn't know what he says in 4, but I said when I was watching it with my mate, I went, if it isn't the invisible cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Is
yeah,
this
Hoss,
the,
what do
is
you
that
reckon?
line where he's
To be
like,
fair,
machine
to be
guns and
fair,
stuff?
I
It's
was.
fantastic.
To be fair, something similar happened with me with I'm sure you will have seen this. You know, because it's been doing the rounds. The clip of Anthony Starr and Banshee. I think it's episode 4 where he raids the Nazi house.
I sent
And
that to you guys.
There's literally two lines. He says, "I can do whatever the fuck I want."
Yeah,
And
I
he
sent that
smacks
to
that
you.
guy's hand against the
Yeah,
wall.
yeah.
And then the bit where he's like, there's a bit after then where he chases the criminal, and then like the other cop punches him outside. And then as the people are trying to circle around them, he literally says to them, "You stay the fuck back." I was like, nah, this man had it planned out 5 years before he ever signed on for the boys. I'm like,
he was
that's
Prometheus.
unreal.
He was Prometheus. He's 10 steps ahead, mate.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Bro, the
It's just
fucker
what
was
he
6
is.
years
He's
ahead. He wasn't 10 steps ahead. He was 6 years ahead, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh.
Like, and it's unreal. I saw a TikTok the other day where it was Anthony Starr in the pre-suit in like season 1.
Oh,
And
he looks like some reject cosplayer in the
Yeah, no, he
with
really
that
does.
floppy hair. I was just like, Jesus, wet
It
man.
is, yeah. And then it's funny when he like dyes his hair. He does like these proper pouty pictures where he's like, keeping the hair blonde for you, and he's got all of his like tin foil in his hair and stuff. And,
That's what I love about it though, because he said recently as well, like he's like, I love the fact that he says I can literally go out and do whatever because I'm not a blonde and no one knows that. So he literally.
Yeah, I wonder like how easy it is to spot him in public, because he did a con over here recently, and he turned up in a full blue Nike tracksuit. Like at a con for like the whole weekend, was just in a tracksuit, and you could imagine you're walking. It was in Birmingham. You could be walking in Birmingham Central, and you wouldn't have a clue that was Homelander in front of you. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I'm so annoyed. I couldn't go to that con because
I wanted to go to it as well. Yeah, I'm hoping like next year when they do like the part 2, I'll go to it. Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. I will do. And I'll be there dressed up as Lucas Hood, and I'll get him to sign all my Banshee DVDs. I don't care if I don't bring them in. I will sneak them in. He will sign every single one of them.
Yeah.
I will.
And mate, he just wears like, he's so chill. He wears like glasses and that when he's not filming, so he just seems like the most normal person ever.
Yeah.
Thing is, I think I'd be terrified to meet him though. Just
I'm not buying that, Deck. Grow up, Deck. Grow up.
I just don't.
Grow
I feel like he'd be one of them people. I don't know what he's like.
Hang on. No. He's not one of them people, all right? He's not who on the run from the police right now. He's not like that guy where we always knew something was up with him, and now it's being brought into the light. And Deck is sat there making everybody eat the humble pie, sitting like, "I told you so."
Nah, Anthony Starr.
Shit in Justice League. I knew there's something behind the scenes. And he sees the Hawaii stuff go down. He's like, "Yep."
Mate, this is the roast of Ezra Miller.
This is just like about a year ago when Green Arrow and the Canaries was cancelled, and everyone was like, "Oh, Arrow season 8 was a little bit pointless, wasn't it?" I'm like, "You fucking told you all."
No. This is coming from the man that has not watched season 4 since he binge watched it. He's never watched it since. He's not had to endure season 4 for 6 years. Me and other Dan had to watch it all when we did that stupidly massive run. And I wanted to kill myself.
Yeah. You're so lucky you got to binge that season, Deck, because we had to watch it weekly and that was torture.
Honestly.
Back on it.
Yeah, I had to watch season 8 weekly, and that was also torture. So
that was only like 8 episodes, mate.
Yeah, but at least you could go through the pain and get it over and done with in a quick blast. We had to endure it, mate. We had to endure that pain.
Yep. The pain of when Laurel died.
It's the equivalent of basically you getting shanked by that same arrow that Laurel did very quickly, because it's like, I can just binge all this. Meanwhile, we had to let that linger. We then had to get stabbed again the next week, and then the week after, and then we had a 4-week break where we're just literally questioning our lives as to why we're watching the show. And then the finale came around, and I was just like, I can't do this.
Exactly. Yeah. But I reckon meeting Anthony Starr, he's got a bit of a Josh Segarra to him, where he's like evil on screen, but when you meet him in real life, he's the nicest guy ever. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah. To be fair, I mean, Josh was like amazing.
Mate,
Josh was
one of the
beast.
best guests I've ever met at a con. Honestly,
Yeah.
like
He's
that
like-
guy took like 10 minutes to speak to like every fan. He's unreal. Yeah,
I just realized, I mean, we've been live for like 40 minutes and I feel like we've barely said anything.
we've talked about Jensen Ackles and we've talked about Jensen Ackles and Anthony Starr.
That's it.
I mean, that's it. Should we just end it on that point? Like,
I mean, yeah, there's nothing else really in the season, really.
no, yeah, let's go into like deeper. Come on, host, stop us rabble over here from like going
Yeah.
off script, mate.
Well, your host doesn't have any notes, so I'm just kind of allowing, the rabble just to sort of happen. But I guess following on from Soldier Boy, we can kind of talk about sort of what his plot was, which was that he was basically saying to Butcher, if you help me find my old team who betrayed me back in the day, to hunt them down and kill them for what they did, I will then in turn help you take down Homelander. So we did get the introduction of Payback, who were kind of the original 7. Now, I mean, we don't get loads of them in this. Like, they're not particularly well-defined characters, particularly. But the main sort of ones, like there's kind of like the Swatto, who's kind of like the Wasp, I guess.
Yeah.
You've kind of got.
He was basically the Slipknot of the season 3.
yeah. You kind of have like what were they called? The twins. What were they called?
Oh,
I can't want to call them like
Yeah.
the Tornado Twins, but that's not right.
I thought there was TNT twins.
TNT.
Yeah.
TNT Twins.
Yeah, TNT twins. You had Gunpowder, Crimson Countess, Black Noir, and Soldier Boy.
Yeah. And Mindstorm as well.
Oh, Mindstorm, yeah.
And I mean, this team, like I say, I mean, you kind of see them in the first, I think it's the first episode, in the flashbacks and stuff, which, I mean, those flashbacks are actually pretty interesting because you get a really young Grace Mallory, who you then find out was like their handler back in the day. So she like knew all about Soldier Boy and stuff like that. And then you also you get to see like Soldier Boy actually back in the day. But I think most interestingly is you get to we actually finally see Black Noir's face. And this completely shocked me. And even when I first saw this episode, I didn't quite believe it because obviously in the comics, Black Noir is a clone of Homelander. And I was completely under the impression that is what they were going to do. Like, given how popular like Anthony Starr is and how he's kind of the star of the show, I thought there's no way they're going to pass up the opportunity to do that. But no, they actually didn't do that. This is actually a completely different character. And it actually was, in a way, more effective. Seeing this version of Black Noir, who, he's kind of this guy who eventually goes against Soldier Boy. He has kind of his own personal insecurities and stuff like that. He gets massively beaten. And even we get to see like a young Stan Edgar as well, who kind of makes a proposal to him. And I mean, what they did, I mean, I think we'll talk about Black Noir in a little bit, but what they did with Noir in this season was just wonderful. And I feel like they gave us a lot on Noir, and then obviously they killed him at the end. But it was quite shocking to me in those payback sequences that it wasn't actually Anthony Starr playing him, which I thought was pretty surprising. I mean, obviously, I know we've seen the actor. Obviously, he's been on Twitter and stuff. Obviously, been on Instagram. Him filming. Like, we knew it wasn't Anthony Starr under the suit, but I was quite shocked when we actually did see his face and it wasn't him.
Yeah. Like, I haven't got through to that point in the comics yet. Like, I'm still like halfway through book 2. Like, I started reading it and then I kind of just stopped for a bit. And I've still got book 2. I've got book 3 and I've asked for book 4 for my birthday next week as well. So if I get that, then I need to like really catch up. But I know obviously of that plot point, and it was also good. Like, The Boys is kind of like The Walking Dead in that it's not just a straight up copy of the comics, which I really like because there's still like twists and stuff. But yeah, it was a bit weird. I feel like Noir, because now that he's obviously like dead, I feel like we've missed so much of him.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I've seen Eric Kripke say that he is basically they're going to bring the actual like Manta of Black Noir back, but it's going to be a different person under the suit. He's already said that for next season.
Yeah, which I
So
love
maybe that's how they can do like the Homelander clone thing. Maybe that's how they do it.
Yeah,
because
that's
you
what
have
I was
them
going to
correct,
say.
and
Yeah.
then-
Yeah,
Because I think that's incredible. The fact, like, it's so thought for them to be like, "Oh, Black Noir's dead," because obviously the public don't know that he's dead. So it's like, well,
True.
and no one knows what he looks like. So it's just a thing where they can literally, in theory, recast Black Noir in universe. And like I say, it would make a lot of sense if they just went, "Oh, well, we've got like Homelander's DNA. They probably already got it. They're just like, well,
yeah,
we'll do that." Like I was going to say that before. Like I do think that this could be how we get the Homelander clone thing.
Yeah, true. And yeah, just with like Noir dying, like I feel like because he didn't interact much with Soldier Boy in like the present, did he?
No.
So
I was a little bit sad about that. I did want to see him actually, because I actually thought maybe if Soldier Boy was going to die in the season, it would be quite cool if Noir actually did get the chance to kill him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Seeing as how Noir being Noir is done by Soldier Boy, basically, because we get that whole like cartoon sort of flashback, which I thought was really cool. Actually, I really enjoyed that bit.
Yeah,
that was really, it's just so like only the boys sort of could you see like cartoon characters sort of interacting with like live action or something and just be like, this looks really weird, but with the boys you're like, no, it makes sense.
And
seeing how we
gave
also
this
had like
insight to Noir that we'd never seen before, where we finally got a little bit of personality to him a little bit. Because I mean, Black Noir in the past 2 seasons has kind of just been used as a punchline, because it's kind of this thing where he doesn't talk, he doesn't say anything, so he kind of just like comes in, does something either really kind of menacing and scary or completely hilarious, and then because he's basically deadpan, you just don't. It's like, I think it's in season 1 where he's at that like party thing and he sits down next to the guy on the piano and just looks at him until he leaves, and then just starts playing the piano, and stuff like that. It just added this like insight to him that was really interesting, and the fact that he just had like he had all these dreams and desires back in like the 60s to kind of do all these things, and Soldier Boy just completely shut him down and stuff like that. And it just led to him, you know, he was the only real member of Payback who made it through to the 7, and it's kind of been this, you know, he's been very, and it completely explains a lot of things. It explains why he's so subservient to Homelander, because he's just like, he tried to rise against Soldier Boy, got his ass handed to him basically. So now with Homelander, he's like, well, I'm your boy basically. I'll do whatever. Because even like, I love the line. I think it's in season. I want to say it's in season 1. It might be season 2, where Homelander is just like furious with the 7, but he's like, "But except you're great," pointing at Black Noir. And it's the way, like, you know, when it eventually gets to the finale, when Homelander actually kills Noir, and it's like Homelander genuinely seems quite hurt at the fact that Noir almost like betrayed him. He's like, he thought he was the one member of the 7 he could always rely on, he could always trust. He was family to him, and he genuinely like seemed really upset when he killed him. And in a way, like I say, even though we never actually got to see Noir interact with Soldier Boy in the present, it's very the boys to kind of completely subvert everything and just have, oh, you know what, we'll just have Homelander just stab him through the chest. And I thought that was great. I loved all the Noir stuff. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I really liked it. Just a little bit, I guess, disappointed in that it wasn't the comic way, but it was obviously a big twist that it didn't go down that comic way. And yeah, if we still get like the clone thing, that would be would be pretty cool. Yeah, it just could have been, he should have had more interactions with Soldier Boy, I feel like. Because did Soldier Boy actually meet all of Payback in the sort of present day stuff? I feel like
he didn't meet Gunpowder because Butcher killed him.
Of course,
Butcher killed Gunpowder.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the rest. Yeah, I think it was just, literally just Noir and Gunpowder were the only 2. I don't think they ever actually met in present day.
Yeah, because Swallow already died, didn't he?
Yeah, because Swallow died in the flashbacks. So, yeah. But to be fair, I wasn't massively against them killing off Black Noir, because I actually thought it was quite a good subversion, because they kind of like built up this whole thing about him doing it and then him never actually getting to be able to do it, because Homelander basically does it as kind of like this way that he thinks, well, if I kill Noir, like that will make Soldier Boy think highly of me because I'm helping him with his job. So I actually liked it in that regard because it made sense character-wise why it happened, because it was clearly like Homelander trying to appease Soldier Boy. And yeah, I do like that side of it. I didn't have that much of an issue with it, and I like that we got a bit more of Black Noir this season, because I feel like he's a character where he's had like moments in the first 2 seasons, but he's never really played like an integral part story-wise. Whereas in this one, there's a lot more for him to do. So I actually quite like that, and I thought it was a good way to send off this version of him. Of course, like I know we're getting like another new version of him next season, so whether they are going to still do the clone storyline or if they do something else, I'm curious to see what they do, because like you say, because no one knows who he is underneath, they can literally do whatever the hell they want. So yeah, I quite like it for that reason. But in terms of like this version of Black Noir, I like what they did with him, especially like with the payback stuff. Yeah,
I reckon go like Deadpool and get like Brad Pitt to be the face of like Black Noir or something like that, or like Matt Damon. Yeah.
Just literally, I think it'd be quite comedic in a way if they just kill Black Noir each season going forward and get a different big actor to play him at like the end every time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, talking of like big actors, I was so shocked in the first 5 minutes where we got like Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
That was pretty big.
I
did have that sport.
Was that when was that shot? Because like it makes me think of the fact, because it was almost like they treated it as like an end thing. It was like obviously in the film, like the Dawn of the Seven, it was kind of like this end thing, and obviously Charlize Theron shows up in the end credits of Doctor Strange 2. So like when was that shot? Because I can't tell if that was meant to be a riff or not on that, of being like, oh, here's this big actress who shows up, or if it was just a fact that if it was just a complete coincidence, because they were so close together.
I think it was more coincidence. I think it must have been.
They were so close together.
That is funny. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was all really, really solid stuff. Like I like the fact we did actually get a look at the Dawn of the Seven, like right at the beginning. It was quite fun. And like especially what they did with Homelander as well, like with Stormfront, like him kind of like appeasing to the public and being like, oh, I'm just a guy who fell in love with the wrong girl, and like all of that was really good. I can't believe what they did with Stormfront in this season as well. Like I didn't expect it to be in it. Obviously she's kind of being hidden by Vought as she was like recovering, or kind of just in like borderline comatose really. And what she does to Homelander in episode 2.
The memes that came from that was so amazing.
It was pretty wild. I mean, I heard a theory, because I guess also we could talk about this, is that it is revealed in this season that Soldier Boy is actually Homelander's dad. I heard a theory that Stormfront was his mum.
Oh no!
And I literally was like, "That's horrible," but this show would do it.
Oh god, yeah! I've literally just thought of the implications of that now. Oh my god! And yeah, that's such a boys thing. Yep.
Yeah. No, I mean that. I mean, we don't really know who Homelander's mum is. I mean, it is kind of obviously inferred that he doesn't have a mother, and that obviously is that's obviously such a huge part of like his character. But there were hints towards it, in this season. Look, like Soldier Boy, he even mentions in the Herogasm episode, he says, he knew Stormfront. He actually started Herogasm with Stormfront, or Liberty, as she was called back then. And she was a real firecracker, is the word he uses to describe her. So there was kind of hints that maybe they had a relationship in the past. And, Vought just loves lying to Homelander, so it makes sense of maybe like, oh no, you weren't actually made in a test tube. You weren't even just made for Soldier Boy. Now that Nazi superhero you dated, that's your mum. It would work on the show. It would happen.
Yeah. Well, you get Declan as a writer for season 4.
I know what I'm doing. But yeah, I mean, what did you think about the reveal of Soldier Boy being his dad? I personally didn't see it coming, and when it actually happened, I literally, like that end of episode 5, I literally turned to my girlfriend, because we've been watching this entire season together, and we were literally just like, what the fuck?
It was such a good twist, because it was like, especially when you watch it back, and even if you think about things about this season, like it's so obvious, because the whole thing is like, the whole theme of the season is about like, relationships with dads, like especially like with the Ryan stuff. And it was like, you think of all the stuff that like Soldier Boy said, like how he always wanted a kid and things like that. And it was just like, genuinely like, even though we should have seen it coming, it's still such a good twist, because it was just like, it completely like changes what you thought was going to happen in the finale because you thought, oh, they're just going to fight Homelander. It's going to be all plain sailing. And it was just like, that was the one plot twist to like completely throw a spanner in the works. It was just like, it was so good. I love that twist. It was such a great moment. Like, easily one of my favorite moments of the season. Just like that whole bombshell. Like, because my reaction to it
completely changed
Homelander,
the dynamic of the show.
When it was Homelander, just like, that was me when it happened.
Yeah, because it completely changed everything. Because it was like the whole pitch, like going into this, was you know, we wanted to see Soldier Boy versus Homelander, and I mean by that point, obviously we'd already seen that, but it was kind of this thing where it was like, oh well, what's going to happen now? Like, is Homelander, who's so desperate for, you know, kind of a parental figure in his life, is he going to accept this? Is he going to reject it? Because obviously Soldier Boy wasn't too, you know, he didn't say the nicest things to him the last time they met. And, you know, with Soldier Boy, is he going to care? Like, does it matter to him? Or is it like a thing where he wants to accept him as his son? It was like, it left me on a string for a week because I was literally just like, I didn't know. I literally didn't know where it was going to go in the finale. And even in the episode itself, when you get to the finale, it kind of is swings and roundabouts because you get to this moment where them two actually meet and you think it's going to be this thing. Homelander sort of saying, you know, I always looked up to you and I always wanted a dad. And Soldier Boy is like, oh yeah, you know, I always wanted a family. I wish I could have that. But, you know, in the life I had and what happened to me, I never got that chance. And obviously with Ryan in the picture, you know, as a grandson as well. But then I just love the fact, you know, he puts his hand on Homelander's shoulder. He's like, maybe if I had a race, you wouldn't have turned out to be such like a pussy bitch or whatever he says. and it just ends in this incredible fight between them all. And, you know, the one negative I do have with the season, and this isn't really anything too personal, it's just the fact that I don't really enjoy kids in things, is Ryan. I think he's annoying. But I don't like kids in most things.
Declan hates kids. Declan hates kids.
I'm not afraid to say that. But I just, yeah, it was the same. Like, I mean, as a recent example, like Thor: Love and Thunder, like that final fight scene for me, Hoss, have
you seen it?
I have seen it. Yes.
Yeah. Like that scene for me.
Shit, mate. I did not like that movie. It's shit. I will happily piss people off. Did not like Full of Thunder. I'd rather watch SNL. Honestly, shit movie. I would honestly, I'm going to die on this hill right now. You know what I'm going to say? Worst Thor film. I would rather watch The Dark World. Do you want to know why? Because at least Thor.
Christopher Eccleston.
No. Thor and Loki. Because at least you got.
How
Thor
do we
and Loki.
always talk about fucking Doctor Who on this podcast?
It's this guy that brings it up. It's not me. It's him.
It's not me.
He's the one that's bringing it up.
It's like that. What's it called? That 6
Declan is the
degrees
one
of
that-
separation or something. We
Declan
always end
is
up.
the one.
at Doctor Who.
Declan is the one that brought it up. I did not say anything about anything. I've not even said the words. It was Declan that said them. So you got to blame Deck.
Yeah, but I'm not the one on this show who loves this terrible TV show, who's holding on to this dream that one day it'll be good again. Look, we all know David Tennant is coming back, and we all know that Russell T Davies is coming back. One episode, mate.
What do you mean one episode?
David's back for one episode.
It's not. Is it for three?
Three?
They're shooting 3 episodes. Yeah, they're shooting 3 specials. Basically, they're shooting 3 episodes, anniversary specials, to go up for a whole 60th anniversary. So
That's what I do when you two start talking about football.
Yeah, so they're shooting 3 episodes to commemorate the 60th anniversary. So because that's what they've done. Because you think about
I'm so out of the loop.
Well, think about it. They're filming it now. Why would you film a TV episode 18 months in advance? It makes no sense.
I guess. I'm out of the loop, apparently. I thought it was just one.
Anyway, I've completely forgotten where we were on that bit.
We were talking about Ryan. He said he didn't like Ryan because it was
like the
characters.
4. Yeah, I didn't like the 4 kid fight as well. I thought it was really ridiculous.
But I have to say, mad respect to Soldier Boy for just going up to that kid and just.
Yeah, I respect that. That was basically what Declan wanted to do. That was what Deck wanted to do. So as soon as Soldier Boy did that, Deck was like, "I support
do you want me to
Soldier
do like
Boy.
one of my little photoshops, Deck, where I just put your head on Soldier Boy and like backhands him?
But my thing is when they introduced Ryan into the fight, I kind of thought, oh, it's going to be like proper, you know, sort of watered down now because obviously you got a kid in the picture, but no, Soldier Boy just.
Mate, it's the boys though. Like they let that kid
Exactly.
do whatever he wants, man. I always think this when kids appear in like 18 films. Like, what do they say to the parents when they like get them in? Where they're like, okay, by the way, your son's going to be putting up the middle finger most of the day. He's going to be saying fuck. He may also drop the word cunt. But
He did drop the
he's,
word cunt in
he's-
season 2.
I know, yeah. And he's like, they're like, maybe if we like turn your kid into maybe like fuck him up a little bit, can we give you a little extra £1 million or something? Like for all the damages we may do in 20 years when he needs therapy.
Well, the thing is, I remember like, do you remember the film that came out in 2019, Good Boys? It was like a comedy, and
Mate,
I
love
remember.
that film. It's
Yeah,
so
it's good.
funny.
That is
so
a good film, to be fair.
Yeah.
And, but I remember the cast saying like the fact that they literally weren't invited to the press screening because they aren't old enough to watch the movie.
Yeah.
Which I think
But,
is like this is brilliant.
Yeah, the kid who does it, there's two, they're like twins who both film it. And there's loads where the kid on his Instagram is just doing this with like Anthony Starr and stuff like that.
Really, is it twins?
Yeah. And
I
one of
didn't know
them's he's in, he was at the premiere of The Grey Man,
Oh
the
yeah.
Netflix one. I don't know, is he in it?
No,
He must
I
No
have
didn't
idea.
see him.
maybe he was just at the press thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind Ryan as long as maybe next season he's not flying about like he thinks he's little Homelander and he's got a budget cosplay on and goes, Dad, look at my cosplay or look at my suit.
I think that's what might happen. But then again, I'm also
I
like
feel
I should
like
trust Eric Kripke more.
But yeah, I feel like I trust the boys that it'll be fine and it'll be kind of funny. But yeah, I know what you mean. But I think Ryan's character now has come like full circle, or he's gone like little mummy's boy, then obviously with Billy, and Billy's like, yeah, don't be a cunt, mate. And then he's like rejected Billy, and now he's come full circle where he's like going to be a cunt with Homelander. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a problem with Ryan, to be fair.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
one of the things. He's not the worst. It's just one of the things where like I just don't really. He's always like I just find them like it always feels like when you add a kid into a plot, it always slows it down.
Yeah, I know what you
So
mean.
I just hope it doesn't do the same here.
You just want to be that gif of Homelander where it's just like, you
Push
go
him off
now,
the roof.
and just
Yeah.
push him off the roof.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when you look at like that finale in particular was like that whole fight because you have like the moment where like it's kind of this that final fight is kind of a menagerie of things because you've got so many people fighting each other and switching allegiances like in that scene. But then I love the part where Soldier Boy does bash Ryan with the shield, and then you just get the team up between Butcher and Homelander. Like they're both just like,
yeah.
oh, okay, and they
you
both just
picked
use their
the
laser
wrong
eyes.
person.
Bang.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, I really
Although I
liked
guess-
the Homelander Maeve fight as well. That was really
Yeah,
bad.
that was. Yeah, I like that because it was the way Homelander was kind of just like, even at this point in time, he's just like Maeve keeps hitting him, and he's just like, please stop. He's like, you know what? Like,
What
he's
you
not even
doing?
fighting back.
What
He's,
you
he's,
doing?
like, he's such a, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I literally jumped out of my like out of the bed when she stabs him through the ear because I was literally like, oh my god. I was like, that could do some damage.
Yeah.
And even
And
like
he
also
just
like
goes and
Maeve,
rips her eye out.
yeah, Maeve loses an eye, which is, I mean, that's pretty badass to be honest. And another part I actually do want to talk about, and I was wondering to get your guys' opinion on this, is sort of going into season 4. We have a moment where Huey obviously has to either make a decision to kind of take Temp V again. I guess we'll talk about Temp V in a minute, or not, because if he does, it seems like he's obviously going to have some serious health issues, potentially might die. But instead, he then changes all the lights and stuff like that in the room to then help Starlight use her powers at full effect. I was wondering, do you think in season 4 is Huey going to become to the boys kind of like the guy in the chair? Because I was wondering if that's kind of what this was setting up in a way. I could be completely off center, but it seemed like this thing where he's almost discovered his role. Because in this season, obviously, he has this whole power trip thing where he gets the V and he actually gets powers. He can actually do stuff. He can go out in the field. But now, I think in this finale, the fact he was able to help Starlight and in a way played a pivotal role in winning that battle, he's kind of realized that he does have potential within the team, just maybe not in the same way that the other members do. Again, it could be completely random. It's something that I just thought of when watching it. It might not have been an intention whatsoever, but it just kind of seemed to me that maybe that was something they were hinting towards.
Yeah, I probably see it happening that way just because I feel like the natural thing is for probably him to do that, to kind of realize that he can help the team without having to take the V. And then on the other side of the fence, I think Butcher will definitely end up taking V probably by the end of season 4. That would probably be my prediction. I think Butcher will probably end up taking Compound V because of where we find out about what the Temp V's done to him by the end of the season. So I actually feel like it would probably make sense in that regard because obviously I know in the comics, like, all the boys pretty much have Compound V from the get-go. So I feel like what they're setting up here, they're trying to like do something different. I actually think it probably suits Hugh's character a bit more because, like I say, he's been on the power trip. He's kind of come out of that. I feel like him being the guy in the chair, but like being useful without having to have the V, I think it probably is the right step for him next season, like from a story perspective.
Yeah, because it's the thing with the V as well, where like he found out in the season really what he has to lose with it, particularly when it comes to Starlight and stuff. Whereas I guess with Butcher, he doesn't really have much to lose at this point. So he's just not bothered. But yeah, I could see it being a thing, obviously, with Butcher at the end of the season, basically being told he's going to die. What did they give it? Is it 6 months?
12 to 18 months.
12 to 18. So he's basically got a ticking time bomb on him now. I'm going to see him
I think he's probably going to take the Compound V, though. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes the V to try and counteract that.
I could see it being a thing where like he has to take that as like a last resort because if he takes it, it's obviously going to increase his health significantly. And he's just, if without it, he will die. But it just means he's going to have the powers sort of permanently. And it could make him kind of spiral out of control. But I mean, the Temp V was a really interesting thing to bring in because, like I say, in the comics, it's kind of this thing where all the boys get it and they just have powers. Whereas with this, it was like they get powers for 24 hours, which kind of led to this interesting kind of moral dynamic where, you know, Butcher's like, oh, it's fine. I'm just doing it. I'm only doing this to actually level the playing field and I can actually help and fight these people properly. But then you've got characters like, you know, MM, who's just like, our whole point, like our whole thing is that no one should have that amount of power. You're literally contradicting what we stand for. I mean, MM had a great arc in this season as well, you know, being so tied to Soldier Boy.
The Compound V, the intro that they had, I can't remember what episode it was, but when Butcher's like standing in front of Huey and he just hurls on Huey and Huey just goes, what the fuck? And then it cuts to the next scene. It was just so good. That was great,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I love their powers. Like, I love because it's such a reflection of the character. Like, I feel like this is a thing where if we would have seen more characters potentially take the V, like, kind of what powers they would have got. Like, the fact that Butcher literally gets one of Homelander's powers is pretty mad. And then you've got Huey, who obviously kind of being the weakling of the group, gets teleportation, but when he teleports, he loses his clothes.
Yeah, that is so funny. Yeah, and I feel like Butcher as well, he gets like the sort of bulletproof because, I mean, he did literally get like beaten by his dad. So it was kind of like his power was that he takes that beating type of thing. And I feel like that's what he is for the boys. He takes all the beatings for them, that if it comes down to like potentially having to save Huey or something, he'd take Temp V to kind of I guess possibly sacrifice himself if he knows the next time he uses it he dies, then he'd do it. Yeah. So yeah, it was a really cool dynamic. That.
Yeah, my only sort of curiosity with that is that, like, obviously with Butcher kind of being on this kind of path to death now, is it like would the show ever go on without Karl Urban?
No,
I can't see it.
Yeah,
I can't see it.
Which is season 4 going to be the last season?
No, not by
you don't think?
I would say for me, I think for me it'll probably go to, I'd probably have to say season 5, maybe season 6, because I feel like
I think if it was 4,
Kripke's smart enough, I think, to know that. I think 5 to 6 is kind of like the neat point to end it.
Yeah,
I mean, if you go on further, then yeah.
Yeah, Kripke with Supernatural, he wrote a natural ending, and then sort of he decided to go off of it, but then the CW was like, well, we're not ending it. It's making us so much money. Like, okay, fine. If you want to quit, that's fine. We'll just find another showrunner. Yeah, I feel like if it was 4, they would have already announced it. Sort of Stranger Things style would have been like 4 is the final one. Like, that's it. Now, I think it's got like 5 or 6 at least. And Kripke will end it when he
wants it.
He wants to. And we'll probably talk to Amazon and be like, yeah, listen, I think it needs to end. Here's the pitch. And as long as it's good.
The reason why I was curious is because I was looking at like a lot of other Amazon shows, some of the more successful ones, and seeing how far they run. And I haven't really seen many that go to like a season 5. And obviously, but this
ain't Netflix, bro. It's not 3 seasons.
But I mean, would it be, I don't know, kind of obtuse to argue that this is Amazon's biggest show of all time?
Easily. I can't.
Yeah,
think
I'd
of,
say
like,
it's the biggest.
another
Yeah.
one.
I can't think of another show that's kind of bigger than this. It's like an Amazon exclusive, like made by them.
Yeah.
I
can
can't
imagine
think of anything
that,
else
like,
that's really anywhere near as big.
I know, is it Jack Ryan with what's his
Krasinski,
name?
Yeah, but I wouldn't even
Krasinski.
say that's got the
But
newest
that's not
writing
even
that
that's
this
not
has
even
got,
that
no.
big
No,
either.
the first season got like a lot of promotion, but the second season didn't as much. I mean, I've seen both seasons of Jack Ryan. It was a show I was quite into, but like the second season is nowhere near as good as the first. Like,
Yeah,
not even
exactly.
close.
Yeah. I feel like potentially Jack Reacher might not be on levels.
I wanna
but
watch
it's
that.
Doing decent. Yeah, like I really like Jack Reacher, and I'm looking forward to season 2. Yeah, I think that can do quite well, but no, definitely The Boys is like head above like anything, man. Yeah.
So I think that being said, you know, with the Boys comic, there's obviously a lot of material they can still explore with that as well. So that could then bring it into further seasons, etc. But yeah, I guess sort of reverting back to MM, who, like, I think he had a wonderful story in this season. Him kind of having this really dark history with Soldier Boy and what he did to his family, and kind of him having this kind of moral dilemma in his head about, you know, do I kind of sit back or do I get revenge on him? You know, he wants revenge, but also he knows that he's kind of always in his daughter's eyes and he doesn't want to do anything. And it kind of leads to this beautiful scene. I think it's in the finale, or it might be in episode 5, between him and Frenchie, where Frenchie's like, yeah, at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do. Your daughter's going to see you for who you are regardless. And you're like the greatest damn man I've ever known. And I was like, that just hit me in the feels. That I was like, that was amazing. I think Mother's Milk was just like brilliant in this season, to be honest. He got some of the best moments, some of the best lines, as kind of him and Annie really kind of being the only members of the Boys who actually kind of have that moral conscience within them still. I mean, even Frenchie to a degree, I suppose, but like these two are kind of like, they were the ones that were keeping everything grounded. Because like I say, Frenchie and Kimiko were kind of in their own separate story in this season. So you kind of had this kind of battle in the Boys between Butcher and Huey taking the Temp V and going out and doing a lot of bad stuff. And then you had Mother's Milk and Annie kind of staying at a ground level. And I just thought his story was great.
Yeah, I agree. Like, he was another one, like when you previously said, Deck, about like when certain characters got their own screen time, like being, I can just turn off here. But no, he had some really good screen time, especially with with Annie, and like when they went to Herogasm and we got to see him with my namesake Love Sausage again. That was brilliant. Like, so good. I just remember, I think I was listening to a podcast with him on it. It was from last season when Love Sausage was first introduced, and just saying how he didn't read the scripts or something like that. Hey!
Mr. McCallus.
They were talking about how he read the script and he thought it was a joke when it said you're going to have this ginormous penis wrapped around your like throat, and everyone was just trying to like out-psych him and like really put him off. And then when he got to the scene and he was filming it and realized what he had to do, he was like, what? Yeah, but yeah, he had another really good like storyline, man. Yeah,
and I mean, I think he delivered possibly one of the most satisfying moments of the season when he gets to just beat the living hell out of Todd.
Yes. Oh my god, he was the true villain of this season.
He really
True
was.
villain.
He really was. Oh,
Yeah.
Todd.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
God.
man. Hate him.
Like, just it was so satisfying just watching him just punch him. And even like, I love the fact that, I thought it was gonna be this big dramatic thing where like his daughter was gonna just like hate him and blah blah blah. I love the fact that like even his daughter is just like, yeah, all right. it's fair.
Yeah.
Because he's literally like, I mean, he even shows up in like one of the final scenes where obviously Homelander literally kills someone in the public in like a crowd, and
Should have been him. Should have lasered his head off.
yeah, and Todd's literally like, yeah. It's just like, no.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting though, because it's like obviously we had that like scene in season 2 where Homelander kind of was envisioning him like just killing that entire crowd, and it's kind of like a version of that where he's in a crowd but he just kills the one guy, which was quite interesting. And like I guess like talking about other characters, like Annie kind of had quite an interesting role here as well, like really working within the Seven to kind of expose Homelander. She got a lot of really good hits on him in this, but also
#HomeLight.
Yeah, but like what Homelander did with her was like wild. Like him taking him and taking their like relationship and going public with it and stuff like that. Him having what he thought was completely under her thumb, or under his thumb, sorry, was really scary. Like really, really scary.
Yeah.
And I have to say as well, like another character I loved in this season, who I've loved in every season. I just think she's wonderful. Is Ashley. She's so good. She's a character I want to see get powers. That's a character I want to see get powers. I want to see what she would do and what power she would get.
Mate, her power is just absolutely like obliterating men when she shags them. Like, do you not remember that one where she's on the toilet with the assistant guy and she like rips his hair out or something? Can we talk about the scene when Homelander just says, "Take off the wig"?
Oh, I know.
Goes, like,
I'm actually going to say this. My favorite line delivery in the whole season is when Homelander is sat there and he's obviously got Ashley, the Deep, and A-Train, and he's like, "When I joined the Seven, I wanted a family. Instead, I got you." The way he says that, I don't know what it was about it. It just completely hit me. I was like, that was incredible. Like, it's such a brilliant delivery.
When he's with the cast, he's just like,
yeah,
I wanted to join a good show, and I got you. Yeah.
I just, and like, he tells her to take off the wig, and we just see the hair that she's pulled out from just being so stressed. It's quite shocking to see, really.
Yeah.
I wonder if that would be her power. She just grows hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's two members of the Seven we haven't really spoke about yet, is the Deep and A-Train. A-Train, I kind of had a prediction. I kind of thought A-Train was going to die in the season. And I mean, I guess he very nearly did. He has, obviously, from last season, he has this heart condition now where he can't run anymore because he'll literally die if he does. But then he has this whole thing, obviously very kind of emblematic of what's going on in the real world with the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff like that. We have this character. What was his name? Blue Hawk, who was kind of going around sort of predominantly black neighborhoods and killing sort of unarmed people and stuff like that. Just a complete racist cunt, basically. And we have this. It eventually leads to him in Herogasm finding him and just. It was a brutal death, like him just running full pelt and just dragging him along the floor like along like pure concrete. And it eventually leads to him just like collapsing because he obviously ran. And I literally thought I thought they killed him. I thought he was dead.
Yeah, I thought as well that would have been quite a, I guess, poetic death because he sort of got rid of that guy who was obviously causing all that trouble, and then of course his brother as well. He'd gone down, but then obviously we get him where they're like, "Oh, we're gonna fit you with like a new like."
Oh, that hit. That was bad. When they said you got your new heart, it's Blue Hawk's heart. I was like, oh.
How is that
Awful.
heart not mangled to fuck though?
No idea.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Surely that was mush. Yeah.
That was the one part that was perfectly preserved. But A Train was just like I love the fact he eats like so much humble pie in this episode, in this season. Like, him with his with stuff with Blue Hawk, and the fact that he does that, and his brother just is like, what was that for? Like, it's like, I wanted to see my kids see him locked up and see justice, not see him absolutely murdered and obliterated by you.
Yeah.
And even at Herogasm, he literally apologizes to Huey. He literally looks him dead in the eye and apologizes for what he did to Robin in season 1. And Huey just punches him.
I was not expecting him to just apologize for it. I was expecting a fight.
Yeah.
I kind of really did want a fight as well. Yeah.
I think A Train might be one of the more interesting characters going forward now, especially because he's got he's one of those characters who's he's almost on the verge of being redeemed, but also not at the same time. And now he's got his heart back again. He can actually use his powers, because he was so close to turning against Homelander as well in this season. He was so close, and then he didn't. He's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on, I think, next season.
Yeah.
And then we also have the Deep as well, who was a lot more prominent in this season than he was last season. What I love about the Deep,
get the bleach.
what I love about the Deep is that obviously he's supposed to be a riff on Aquaman, who has obviously so famously been a joke. And I love the fact that in the show, the Deep is a joke, but it's done so well to the point where he is kind of this incredibly out there and kind of strange character. He does talk to animals and stuff, like sea creatures and stuff, and obviously he has interesting relationships with many of them.
I was going to say he doesn't just talk to them.
He talks to them with his love language. But it was just his dynamic with Homelander, and the fact he has this new girlfriend in it as well. He just went down this wild path to the point where it ends in this scene with Homelander forcing him to eat Timothy, this octopus that he has this very close relationship with. And it was genuinely one of the most uncomfortable scenes of the entire season, because they've done a really good job of establishing the fact that the Deep does genuinely care for these sea creatures. He genuinely sees them as people. So the fact he was forced to eat his friend alive, it was genuinely quite distressing. I was like, that's mad. So yeah, the Deep, I love, what's his name? Chase Crawford, is that the actor?
Yeah.
Deep. He commits to that role, and fair play to him, because it's a tricky character to play.
Do you reckon he goes full Jared Leto and actually
Oh, I hope not.
Fish to get into character?
I hope not.
If he does honor that, pray to God that he does not. I pray to God.
It's deep in time.
Oh God.
They go to his trailer. They're like, "Hey, Mr. Crawford, we need you on set," and he's just like, "Oh, what? 1 second," and then they barge in, and he's fully just there, octopus on crotch.
I really hope, with my deepest heart, that in season 4 we get an It's Morbin Time reference.
Oh, I think they've got.
True.
They've got it. It's got to be the Deep that says it as well. It's got to be the
Yeah. It's deep in time.
It's got to be.
It's butching time.
Oh,
It's that one
God.
that I said you where it's Homeland in time.
It's Homeland in time,
yeah. I might put on my Bumble saying, "Looking for someone to share with my octopus." What do you reckon, boys? Do you reckon that will go down well?
I mean, I think three-way relationships are incredibly popular these days. It's 2022.
Yeah, mate. That was one of the most uncomfortable scenes when he's with that other octopus and he goes, "She wants to feel you." I was just like, ugh, just
literally,
stop.
genuinely. It was awful.
Yeah, and she just gets up and she's like, "No, stop it." Oh, mate. Yeah, but it's weird how we've gone from season 1, the Deep, when he got finger fucked in his gills, to hating it, and he's fully just with fish. That's just who he is. Maybe he
He's
just
just
doesn't
accepted
human contact. Yeah, it's just he likes fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got some sad news to break, guys. I'm gonna have to
Oh,
go.
he has to
because
go.
Nah. Only because the dog is literally sat outside. She's not been out at all day, so I'm gonna have to go and take a walk. What I'll probably do is once I've walked, I'll probably come back in if I can jump back into the call. So I'll only be gone for like 5 to 10 minutes. I'll be back anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
So
Yeah, you've got to join back for my game before you leave.
Oh,
mate.
that's true.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
I'll be back. I'll be back for the game. Don't worry. It's just anybody that probably will not even be cared that I'm off screen for like 10 minutes. Just a heads up warning. I will have to walk the dog because otherwise she will kill me. So I'll be back.
That's
I'll be
fair.
back
We
in time for the
appreciate
game, most definitely.
Hey, look, just like the deep, we love animal love. So
Yep.
I'm off to write the deep tomorrow actually, and I'll be back to you. So I'll read it out to you when we get to it. I'm
don't do
producing
any
a trailer
weird stuff
today.
to the dog.
Oh God, Declan.
Didn't need that. Just for that, I'm just gonna leave because that was offensive to my dog.
He's not
Say
going
bye
back now. No.
I'm not coming back now. I've decided that's not happening now.
You thought my mind was filthy, Deck? Like, no.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Nice. Yeah. I think we can go into hashtag justice for Timothy anyway. Get a bit of hashtag justice for Timothy.
Yeah, I think he might end up being the true villain of season 4 when he gets his revenge.
He's gonna have like a Han Fast and Furious type hashtag going on.
I will. Oh, and as for the Justice for Han campaign, I will be there at the front. I guess, sort of speaking of villains, then I suppose while Hoss is gone, we can sort of discuss who was set up as our main villain of season 4, or seemingly our main villain of season 4, is Victoria Newman, who obviously has been around for a couple seasons now. In this season, she basically, in retrospect, was kind of just moving pieces around so that she could then become something much bigger in season 4. Getting to the point where she kind of wanted to get this transactional relationship with Homelander where he does something for her, she does something for him, eventually leading to her becoming the running mate for becoming president. So therefore, if that campaign wins, she will become vice president of the US. And I love the line where Homelander, not Homelander, Butcher has literally just been told he's going to die soon in like 12 to 18 months. And he just walks in, he's like, that bitch has got to go. Like, it's such a great Butcher line.
Yeah.
I loved it. But yeah, what do you think about Newman? I mean, I'm really excited to see her as a villain. I mean, I think she's great. I love her in this show. And if you've played Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you can see how great she actually is as an actress. I loved her in that game as Farah. She's wonderful. And she's so great in the show, but she hasn't really been given that full spotlight yet. But I feel like season 4 is going to be that. And she's a very powerful soup as well in regards to what her power is. Like, obviously, just blowing heads up is pretty it's pretty mad. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I'm sort of intrigued with her power then, seeing as they're saying, like, basically Soldier Boy was the only one who could defeat Homelander. Can she not use her powers on Homelander? Does it just not work?
I don't know. Like, I feel like I said, I think she realized in the season that she kind of needed Homelander to get where she wanted to be. So I think that was kind of like not really something she was after. Like, it might get to a point where, I mean, obviously, I don't think they'll use, like, if anyone's going to kill Homelander, I don't think it's going to be Newman.
No, definitely not. Because that's just, it's too easy, man, isn't it? If it's just like, oh, here's who we've been bringing up this huge villain. It's basically like Superman, OP as fuck. Oh, we just have this villain who can, like, pop his head off. And we've had that since season 1. Oh, whoops, here we go. We've just played this little trump card.
I think that'd be a pretty rubbish way of him going out.
Exactly. It's going to be Butcher at least.
I do feel like we could see Newman cause like a pretty huge death potentially. Like, maybe she could kill a member of the 7, like maybe someone like A-Train potentially. Like, maybe if there's a member of the 7 who does then defect and kind of becomes a problem, like a thorn in her side, it could be a thing where she kills that character. But like, it won't be Homelander. Because similar to what we said before, like, I don't think The Boys would ever carry on without Karl Urban. I don't think it'll ever carry on without Anthony Starr either. Like, the season that Homelander dies will be the final season.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Because there's
100%.
no way I can't see Homelander making it out of the show alive.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
And I feel like Anthony Starr as an actor would also want that kind of grand death as well
Yeah,
for his character.
yeah,
Like the death
exactly.
that he truly deserves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I guess going on like that as well with let's talk about another goat, Giancarlo Esposito. Just yeah,
Oh, I love him. He's so good.
yeah, man. I just love his character in that he's just he's just a human. He's got no powers, but his power is just how high he was in the vault like room. And that scene where he's like talking to Homelander and he literally just manages to walk out that room scot free, when realistically Homelander could have just zapped him in the back of the head with a laser blast and just killed him on the spot. But Homelander was scared of him.
Yeah, he literally he is completely defenseless, but he can't be touched.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the power that it's just the way he talks. He has this like almost like a regalness in a sense of like he's so high up, he's so powerful without having any powers whatsoever. And you know, Juan Carlos Esposito is just he's so good at villains. You know, especially it's like, you know, if you've seen him in obviously Breaking Bad or The Mandalorian, even like Far Cry 6 recently as well. He played the villain of that. Especially, I mean, I love him in The Mandalorian. Like he's so despicable in that, the fact that he can literally stand there and like threaten Baby Yoda with like a straight face. Like that's an evil man. That's an evil man.
That is an evil man. Exactly, man. Oh, speaking of like Far Cry, I'd love to see Anthony Starr as a villain on that game.
I said this. I've made a pitch on Twitter a few months ago when I was playing like those villain DLCs for Far Cry 6.
Yeah.
I said my pitch for Far Cry 7 is set it in New Zealand or Australia, and Anthony Starr is the villain.
Yeah, that'd be so good. Yeah.
I just think that'd be top tier. And like I said, we get to see young Stan Edgar in this as well, which is quite cool. We got to see like his like humble beginnings. Or well, less humble beginnings of him kind of slowly building the foundations of like what he was going to do in Vought, and kind of taking Black Noir sort of away from Payback and kind of being like, oh, join my team sort of thing, which is quite cool.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to get more of him, of Stan?
He'll definitely come back. Yeah. I mean, like he's obviously, I think he did have less screen time in this season than the others. But what they did with him in this is quite interesting, because obviously it's revealed as well in this season that he is Newman's adopted father.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if she's going to play a much bigger role next season, it makes sense that he would kind of be there as kind of to see what his reaction's going to be, because you kind of get this moment where like, you know, she actually outs him and completely exposes him for his sort of crimes within Vought, and takes over and kind of gets him kicked out. But you can see in himself, he's like, good on you.
Yeah.
He's like, that's what I would have done.
Yeah, exactly.
They almost have this respect for each other now, which I think is quite a fun dynamic.
Yeah.
So exactly. She like ends up being.
He taught her well.
Yeah, I feel like if it's a thing where you know he's like this incredibly powerful figure among this huge corporation, if she becomes like a step above that and is in government, I think I think Stan's going to look at that and be like, I could use a bit of that.
Yeah, exactly. Going on to that with the whole stepdad thing, and obviously we see, I'm just literally, her name is literally just playing down my head. The woman you're on about, his stepdaughter, Newman. That's it. What was the injection she was using again on her kid? What does that do? Because Kimiko also uses it.
It's like
binging. Is that I've forgotten like small details of that. Yeah.
Wasn't it like power suppression?
Yeah, something like that, wasn't it?
Because I'm pretty sure it's like, because I think what it was is that I think Newman knows that her daughter is going to like inherit the powers. Because obviously if it would make sense, because if Ryan inherited Homelander's powers, that because she is biologically her daughter, so she would inherit like the head popping powers, and obviously because she's so young and her power being so kind of dangerous. I think that's what it was. I think it was like a suppression thing, in the same way that because obviously Kimiko didn't want her powers in the season either.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. Again, that's something I can't quite remember, to be honest, but I think that's what it was.
Yeah, oh mate, you can imagine that power like as a kid. Can you imagine if you're at like school and you just get annoyed if your teacher gives you like a C on a test and you just go and next thing you know your head blown off. Like, yeah.
Oh god.
Jeez.
If I had that power now, I would not last in my job very long.
Just boss, just oh god. Yeah.
More so customers, to be honest. And
shut up and just take your bloody bike and yeah.
I guess another big thing we haven't really spoken about yet. We've spoken about it briefly, but Herogasm was a pretty huge thing.
Yeah, I was going to say wait until Hoss with that bit, but yeah. Well, we can talk about the future of Maeve. What do you think? Where she's going with her character? Because obviously she now only has one eye and also has no powers.
I think Maeve has been written out of the show. I don't think we'll see her next season.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a thing where maybe they'll bring her back for like a scene, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll bring her back down the line. But I think as of right now, it was a fitting end for her character. I think, she's had that happy ending where she can go and live with her girlfriend and she's
exactly.
not got her powers anymore. She's not a part of the Seven. She's not connected in any way. Because I think as far as like probably like Homelander and a lot of the other, like the public are aware, she's dead. Like as far as the public knows, she's dead.
Yeah, exactly.
I was surprised she was alive, to be honest. I that was genuinely a shock. I thought she was dead, and to be honest, when I thought she died, I thought, okay, like that's quite a fitting way for her to die, I think. But I mean, I'm also happy in a way because that character is kind of, again, one of like the main sort of good ones left ish. That she got kind of a somewhat happy ending. I was like, that's decent.
Yeah, I was shocked that she died or that she survived actually. Because, well, first of all, she loses her eye, so it's like, well, she's not gonna have an eye anymore. And then she then jumps out the window. I was like, oh, okay. Well, why have you made her lose her eyeball if you're just gonna kill her off? Like, okay, a bit weird. And then she's alive, and I was like, right, okay. Yeah, I'm be disappointed if she is just kind of written out because she's quite a good character. That'd be disappointing. I feel like she could possibly come back in like a later scene or something where possibly maybe the final season where they're like, okay, we know how to take him down. Like we kind of need everybody, and they get her to help in like some capacity. Yeah.
It could literally be a thing where, like, in whatever the final season is, where they have this fight against Homelander, where they literally get at that point, nearly every super is just turned against him, and it's a whole team because that's what it takes to take down Homelander.
Literally, yeah. Like, could you imagine an Avengers sort of Infinity War style where it's literally like Thanos, where like, Butcher. It's Butchin time, and all these other soups just come from behind him, and like, just team up. Everyone just compound these and lays the fuck into Homelander or something.
Oh, can we please next season get like an actual like living vampire soup character who is also a movie star and is super like method?
Oh, could you imagine?
And that's just where we get like it's vamping time or some shit.
That would be amazing.
I need that next season. I need an It's More reference. I need it because it's become such a big part of my life. Genuinely. I've seen Morbius once. I hate it. It's such a bad movie. I will probably never ever watch it again. But the memes it has created are iconic.
Yeah. Please tell me when you go to work, you go, it's Halford in time.
It really isn't.
Or you need to get on the marketing the marketing team, and you need to bring that as like their new slogan. You need to do it. Yeah. Get them to give all their money to Jared Leto to do an advert for your company.
That would be literally insane.
Mate, there's a guy that looks like Jared Leto. When I was doing like these like stand-up meetings in the morning, we will go and like Zoom and talk about what we're gonna do today. And there's a guy, and I was just looking at him. I was like, looks a bit like Jared Leto. He looks like Michael Morbius. And I was like half tempted to screen cut him out and send it to you. But I was like, nah, I've got to be professional. You don't even know the bloke. Just make Morbin memes out of his face.
I just can't wait. Like, it's one of my favorite things about The Boys. Is just like, you know, all the references and everything to modern superhero culture and stuff like that. So I just feel like with Eric Kripke being so switched on as he is, I feel like we have to get that at some point.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it could potentially happen. Yeah. I was going to say one of my other points is, and we talked about it before, but it's just, I guess, the ensemble cast of who Eric Kripke loves working with, like people he's already worked with. Like we've got Jensen Ackles. There's loads of like the crew and loads of people he's already worked with on like Supernatural. There's a guy called like Phil Shagrisha who's like one of the main blokes of The Boys now. He's worked with him before. They need to get like more Supernatural people in, like one obviously being Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Like we need to get him on the show. I know Hosh was saying how like apparently The Walking Dead stopped him from being in The Boys, but we need to get him at some point, man. Just get him in a super suit.
Yeah, I mean that's he honestly would have been a pretty good Soldier Boy, to be honest. I mean, obviously he's probably a bit older than probably what they were looking for, but
true.
But I mean, it's such a problem with like these Walking Dead spin-offs, like the fact that he's going to be. I mean, I love him as Negan; he's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would much rather like obviously end The Walking Dead this season, which they're doing, and then just leave it, and then
do you like?
Gone.
Yeah, they've got the Tales of the Walking Dead. Just give him like the Negan Lives comic in like 1 or 2 episodes in that show, and then wrap his storyline off, and that's fine. Yeah. I don't know. I'm obviously excited because it's 2 good characters I love in like Negan and Maggie. Here he is. He's back.
I'm back. Boy's back.
Yeah. We're just talking about getting Mr. Jeff on the show.
Oh, I see easily just literally take AMC's funds away, get rid of all the Walking Dead shows, also, and then bring him over to the good show. Bring him over to the show that we know is going to be good.
Exactly.
Like, what's not to lose, man?
Yeah. I feel like at some point as well, we'll probably get Jared Padalecki. He'd be on there at some point. That'd be really good if they got him. Like the guy, I can't remember his name in the show. One of the board members, he was in Supernatural. Hosh, you'll know him as like Bobby.
Yeah.
But I can't remember who he plays in The Boys.
Isn't he the guy who's he's like the president contendee who like Newman is running with?
Might have been.
Yeah. Honestly, like I'd say, get Jeff on The Boys, and I'm gonna watch Isle of Dead because I'm excited, but I'd rather just can it if it means getting Jeffrey Dean Morgan as like a season of The Boys.
I just don't see the point in these spin-offs. Like, I mean, Isle of the Dead sounds quite interesting in the sense that it's going to New York. Like that is pretty cool. But beyond that, I so much prefer they just wrap everything up in this final season of The Walking Dead, end the show, and then just allow these actors to go off and do other projects. Like I know I've seen you, Dan, speak about like getting Norman Reedus as Ghost Rider and stuff like that in the MCU.
Yeah, needs to be done.
And I can't see that happening if he's going to be doing this Daryl show. Which I mean, to be honest, I think every day that goes on, I'm not sure if this Daryl show is actually going to happen. Like, given the fact they've lost Melissa McBride now, like obviously she's not going to be a part of it anymore, and with that, like, because it sounded like she was obviously going to be a pretty integral part of the show, they're probably going to have to rework a lot of it.
Yeah,
it makes me think as well, like, how is it going to affect like the ending of The Walking Dead? Because what if that sets that up, and then it's just like, she's not in it because like she's dead or whatever. It's going to be so unsatisfying.
Well, it's like we spoke about that when we did our season 10 Walking Dead spoiler cast. There was a point in season 10 where Carol could have died, and it would have been perfect. Like, it literally would have been the perfect ending for her character. It would have been the perfect place for her to die, but they carried it on. And now, like I say, she's probably going to be set up to be in the spin-off. Because it's all written, obviously. It's all shot as well, this final season. and now she's not going to be in it. So it's just going to be like this weird thing.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, God knows.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But yeah, and now you're back, Hoss. I think we can talk about our final main talking point, which is the hero-gasm.
yeah. We didn't talk about it just for you, mate. We waited.
Yes.
He wanted to talk about it, and I said, let's wait. Yeah. I've still got another bit as well we can talk about.
Okay. So
Let's talk about it before the hero-gasm, because it was actually in the first episode.
Okay, go on.
It was the first 10 minutes of episode 1 where I just couldn't believe. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I just couldn't believe.
That might have been the most diabolical thing that they've ever done. Like, that was more extreme than the actual hero-gasm event. Like,
Yeah, to be
that
honest,
was way more extreme.
Literally. So I've read like one comic and half of book 2, and mate, those books are just full of like tits, cock, everything. It's basically just comic porn. It's crazy. And I was reading that, and then when I saw the TV show, I was like, how do you translate this book onto TV? Like, surely there's boundaries. The first 10 minutes of season 3, we get a man who just crawls into another man's cock, sneezes, and blows that man up. And then it just... How do you do that?
I mean, I love how all the jokes we feel like this is literally that thing that went around when like Infinity War was out, where it's like Ant-Man should just call it Thanos' arse. But this is like that to a whole nother level.
Exactly, man.
I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Yeah,
I was eating food.
Just being like,
You picked the wrong time to eat food, lad.
I was actually eating Chinese, and I was like, I'll leave it for now.
I just sent my friend a Snapchat to her, just being like, wait, what? I'm only 10 minutes in. Like, how do I continue this episode? What's gonna happen? And then Billy Butcher just like says one of the best lines of the whole series of just Jiminy Cricket's own deed. Yeah, so good. And I was just like, yep, The Boys is back, and I was just ready for it. Yeah.
That was just mad.
And the fact that it's like a full set, it wasn't like CG or anything. They built a full massive fucking bell end and let an actor go inside it.
I mean, I admire the craft, like the dedication.
Oh yeah,
You can't question it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, honestly, the MCU has to blue screen a whole street. Like, The Boys is out here making ginormous penises.
I know. And on like nowhere near as big a budget. Meanwhile, Full Love and Thunder looks like something I can make in After Effects. The effects with the kids, the green screen, the CGI helmets. I'm like, why do we need CGI helmets?
Oh no, the helmets are awful. Yeah.
How would you make a shit film?
Like, it's just mad. Like, I mean, I'm not one of these, Marvel haters or anything, but the extent of use of CGI in their films is pretty mad, especially when you look at something like The Boys on a TV budget.
It's so much nowadays, man.
Yeah, it'd be so easy
really
for
obvious.
a show like The Boys to be like, oh, here's a big CGI penis for a man to walk in. But the fact that they literally built it, it's like last season when they built that massive exploding whale as well.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
Like, honestly, it's like you said, respect to the craft, honestly. Like, I know it's wild, like the stuff they build, but honestly, respect to it. Like, it's pretty mad.
Yeah. And like another thing before you get to the hero-gasm is the cameo from Seth Rogen when he did the sex show with what's her name, Crimson Countess.
I read a funny story about that. Apparently, they literally tried anybody but Seth Rogen to do it because apparently he volunteered. It was like, if no one else will do it, I will do the scene. So apparently they literally went. Eric Kripke apparently went through every single person in the contact list. Everybody said no. So in the end, Seth Rogen, when it got down to the last 2 people, said, "I'll do it." Honestly, I couldn't see anybody else other than him pulling it off. Only Seth Rogen could do that. It was so funny
pulling it off.
Doesn't he? When she like gets attacked or whatever, doesn't he like fully finish?
Yes.
And it reminded me of a scene. I don't know if you've seen the film he's in. I think it's with like Charlize Theron as well. It's called like.
Is it the one where like, what's it called? It's the one
he's
where
basically like this stoner, and she's like some presidential candidate or something.
Yeah, they get together. Yeah, it's like an odd couple thing. Yeah.
And
I
he's
have
got
seen it. Yeah.
yeah, he's got a thing like that where he's like FaceTiming her, and then he's like ejaculating, and he fully just finishes in his beard, and it's so disgusting. Yeah, it just reminded me of that. Like, it's just funny that Seth Rogen is connected to this, and that he's
Yeah.
part of it. Yeah, but then it also makes me think of like how diabolical some of like the scripts are, and that is just him being high all the time, isn't it? Yeah,
Pretty much.
yeah. He's probably like, oh yeah, we should build a ginormous penis. And then Eric Kripke's like, yeah, deal, let's do it. And he's like, no, I was just joking.
I feel like it's almost like a bet between the two where they're just like, oh, you won't do it. He's like, I will.
Yeah,
It's like, how much do you want to bet? I will build a giant cock and balls on that set. It'll be
Yeah.
up tomorrow.
but yeah, I remember when I sent you the tweet about the episodes, and Deck just goes, episode 6, what's a hero-gasm?
Oh.
And I was just like, Deck, you don't even know. Like, I didn't even read it in the comics, but I just knew what it was, and I was just like, oh boy, your little precious mind.
I mean, I have to say, so I mean, as we dive into Herogasm, like I said, but in that first episode, that was by far the most like sexually explicit and kind of sexually graphic thing we got in this season. Because I will say, Herogasm, I wasn't disappointed by it, but it was kind of this thing where I do think they built it up a little bit too much in regards to what it actually was.
But I actually think they did it on purpose. I think they did
Yes,
it on
I
purpose
do
to hype
too.
that up. Yeah.
Yeah,
agreed.
because
Good
I
boss as
think,
well.
you know, despite the fact that because what shocked me about Herogasm was the fact that I was expecting it to be like the main thing in the episode, but it isn't. Like, it's kind of the B storyline.
Mhm.
And then, like I say, it's more so what Herogasm actually builds to, which is the fight between Butcher, Huey, Homelander, and Soldier Boy, which
So
was
epic.
absolutely phenomenal.
Yes.
And it completely stole the entire episode.
Yeah.
You know, this idea you have this massive superhero orgy, and honestly, I mean, you see a lot of tits and ass. Don't get me wrong, you see a lot of tits
Yeah.
and ass, but
And a few
it's
cops.
this, yeah, and that. But you see, you know, all these women and all these guys just kind of going at it, and but you kind of realize at this point that Soldier Boy's coming here to get the TNT twins, and he's so dangerous that everyone in this place could die. And it gets to this point where Annie and MM are like, we need to get everyone out because this is gonna go off, in more ways than one. But then you've got Butcher and
There's gonna be a
Huey
big
and Soldier
fight,
Boy, who are just there to get Homelander and trying to, like, you know, well, like, Homelander shows up, and then it's just this mad battle between them, where we actually almost see Homelander get defeated, and we've never
that was-
seen him.
Crazy. I was actually on the edge of my seat on that bit when they're all pinning him down, and then when Huey's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not leaving you," like that was so good. Yeah,
Like, we've never seen Homelander so close to defeat, and I think isn't that followed then by the scene where he then talks to himself in the mirror and he has like the bruise.
I think, yeah, he looks at himself in the mirror. He doesn't he doesn't get a response from his reflection because he's got the bruise on one side of his face. Just like, you know, honestly, it was so good. The best part of it all was just
that scene was
seeing
amazing.
Butcher. The best bit of it all was just like being able to watch Butcher actually like finally be able to like
Level
take
the
out
playing
his
field.
anger against him, like actually take out his anger on Homelander like in a physical way. Like Carl Urban's like face acting when he holds the punch and Carl Urban's just there smiling. I was just like, this is so good. Like, we waited 3 seasons for this. It's like we didn't disappoint.
His
I know,
grin is
and
like...
to be fair, that whole sequence is also where my name comes from because the bit where he just goes "Oi" to
Oi.
Homelander,
Yeah.
and then just like smirks at him and just lasers him. I was just like, oh,
Yeah,
beautiful. Honestly, like
yeah.
the thing is with that as well is that like it's not like the most like high spectacle fight sequence, but the thing is like you feel the weight of everything. Like you feel the weight of like everyone being thrown around, like all the punches, and then it's like the emotional story behind it with Butcher against Homelander. It's so good. And then like the whole thing is just like amazing. I mean, in fact, that whole episode is. I mean, I tussle between that and the episode that came after because I think episode 7 is pretty strong as well. But I think 6 Like even when you factor in all the other story stuff, like the stuff with A-Train, the stuff with MM, the stuff with Frenchie Kimiko, I'd probably say Hero Gasm's by far the best episode of the whole show, without question.
Yeah,
Like the one after comes close because I love that one as well for the backstory. But Hero Gasm as a whole is just like it genuinely might be one of the best episodes of television I've ever watched. Like legitimately.
Yeah.
Like it generally is phenomenal. Like because when you put that fight on top of it as well, it's just like it's beautiful.
I was wondering though, like, do you, with the actual Hero Gasm side of it, because I think a lot of people had the same reaction, which is that it wasn't quite as kind of graphic as what a lot of us, because especially what the showrunners and the writers kind of pitched it as, and you get that kind of warning at the start of the episode, and I heard even Eric Kripke say like it's the closest you can get on TV to porn, like it's like one step away from porn. And like I wonder if that's just like because maybe if they did Hero Gasm in season 1, maybe it would have been a bit more kind of graphic, but almost like it's like we've always been like desensitized to it in a way. But like you say, I think it was done intentionally to kind of really take away from, to kind of draw attention away from the fact that that wasn't really what the episode was about. And then when you actually witness it, you're like, oh, I mean, Hero Gasm was still good, but the fight is incredible. I just loved it, especially it's like you say, you really feel the heaviness, like you feel the punches between like Soldier Boy and Homelander. It's like seeing like Homelander finally see Soldier Boy, and he's like, "Oh, you're my hero. I look up to you." And Soldier Boy is just like, "You look pathetic. You're wearing a cape." And then seeing like Soldier Boy just grab Homelander and just smash him against the wall. It was like we were like, "Oh, damn!" It was insane.
It's so epic, man. But yeah, I know what you mean, where it's kind of like watered down, where there is a degree, there is a line where the boys is allowed to tread. I mean, I said it back to the first scene with the whole penis thing. There's a line that the boys has, and the boys literally took their fist and just fisted that line so hard and just said, fuck it. Like, they don't care. Because in the comics, there's so many more scenes of like basically Hero Gasm. There's this one team they're like this teenage team, and they basically, one of the panels is like them in this house, and it's just all these superheroes running around, basically just using one different girl, and they just skip around using like a different girl each. It's crazy. It's like a comic. I don't know if we're going to see that on TV because it's borderline like. Yeah, we won't see that. I think we won't really see Hero Gasm, like something on that level again. Possibly maybe in the final season they might have like another one just to a nod to it or something. I mean, I would love for it to be like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where it's like the Halloween heist, where every season there's a Hero Gasm type thing. That would be really good.
Well, I mean, we need to see
Frenchie needs
Hero
to
Gasm.
see it. Yeah, Frenchie needs to go to it. Exactly, man. Yeah.
I think Hero Gasm, I probably agree, it was the peak of the season.
Yeah.
Mainly just because of that fight. It was so good. It really kind of encapsulated everything we wanted in that season. That we really wanted to see Soldier Boy versus Homelander. So to finally see that fight and for it to be as epic and as brilliant as it was just great. And like I said, then you could just have Butcher entering it, which is the oi, and then just blasting him was amazing.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's just seeing Homelander like actually on the down foot and him eventually escaping that situation. Yeah, actually scared of like the fact that he's like, oh shit, like I've never had to like worry about my life. Yeah. And now there's this guy who is literally almost as powerful as me. I need to sort this problem out now. Was pretty wild.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty much everything. Are there any other points you guys want to talk about before we move on to Shotgun's magical game of mystery?
I was just gonna say that I should have, seeing as Deck does like his mustache and everything, I've just realised I should have been sitting here with for this podcast with just a glass of milk like the whole time. I completely just realised. Yeah. No, I think that basically is the climax of the podcast, isn't it? Hero Gasm.
Yeah. Best season of the show without question. I think it's probably up there now after the season for me of like the best, one of the best TV shows I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'd say it's like,
man.
yeah, easily. Like before, and it was easily in top 10. I'd probably say now it's probably wagering on top 5. It won't quite get to number 2 or 1 for me because that's just sentimental. Like 1 will always be Breaking Bad, 2 will always be Banshee. So I mean, I don't know, man. If season 4 ends up being like somehow even better, like if it keeps on doing the trend of like being better than the last season, then
Literally, man.
it probably will get to number 3 because like it's incredible. Like the season just didn't miss a beat. I love all the storylines, and there wasn't a single storyline or character that I felt, for me personally, was wasted. And like, I'm just pumped for what they're going to do for next season. It's just a shame we've got to wait a year for it because, man, it's just the pain. It's the pain about it. It's like you got like Cobra Kai, where it's like they're somehow churning out like a new season every 9 months or so. And it's like with this, it's like it's a year's wait, but I know it'll be worth it because.
Yeah.
Like,
But I mean, at least with like the boys now, we kind of are getting that Walking Dead thing of like we're getting a spin-off in between, which I think Gen V is going to come out before the season 4 because I saw that the first season of Gen V has like storylines from season 3 of the boys, and then season 1 of Gen V rolls into season 4 of the boys.
4,
yeah. So at least we've kind of got that to tie us over. Really hoping, like I know it's the boys that I think Gen V is going to be really good as well. Hopefully it's not like fucking Riverdale or something. Hopefully it rips on Riverdale. That would be.
I think it will. I think it will rip on Riverdale. It's got to do.
Yeah, man. This season has just been so good. Like there was the meme I think I sent you guys where it's like Stranger Things up against the wall being held by the boys, where it's like so good. Like I love Stranger Things, but I fucking love the boys. Like it's just hands down like one of the best shows, man. Every week, just always looking forward to Friday. Just get the boys, like Homelander and his milk, just guzzling on that content. Like,
oh yes,
the teat that is the boys.
It's being milked, but in a good way.
Yeah. The boys to me is what Froobs are to Michael Morbius. Just that. Yeah.
Oh. Right, go on then, Dan. Let's kick off your game. I know you're just itching for this.
Oh man! All right. Shotgun Dan's game is back of Would You Rather. If you've seen the Arrowverse ones, you know that this is just not as tame. It's more diabolical. Yeah. All right. So, boys, would you rather get pegged by Ashley's character with the Homelander strap-on or spend a night of passion with Love Sausage?
Oh, can I go away for a week and think about it?
I mean, you can go away for a week with Love Sausage to like a nice little spa retreat.
Oh, lovely! That sounds nice. I think Hoss is having a bit of an existential crisis over there.
Mate, these always break Hoss.
I'm trying to articulate my answer right here. When really, I should just spout out whatever comes straight to my brain.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go on, Jack. Go on, mate.
I'll take the night of passion with Love Sausage. I'll take it. I feel like, I think there's a lot more versatility there in regards to what you can do with him.
Lover. I mean, we heard him at Hero Gasm. He seems nice.
Yeah, he is. And, I think he's both lengthy, but he's also girthy, which we all know is important. And I just feel like you can try and disagree with this. I think every man, woman, they and them across the world can agree with this, that there is no better embrace than being wrapped around by a big love sausage.
By the neck.
By the whole body.
Hoss? I think how we get Deck to do his rage quit, we're just gonna get Hoss where he just comes over and just goes.
No, that's cheating.
Yeah, no, you got to give us the answer, mate.
I'd probably say, to be honest,
Oh mate, you guys have missed this, haven't you? You've missed it.
I can't even say the answer straight. I need to recompose. To be honest with you, I probably, even before that came out with this, I probably would have said Love Sausage, just because, do you know what? Everyone loves Love Sausage as a character. So, like, and I love Love Sausage as well. Although is this no, is this, I'm taking this as like pre getting his love sausage burnt in Herogasm. I take it this is pre getting his love sausage burnt. Post.
Yeah.
That's all right. If it's pre, then that's fine. Then I
If
thought
season 4 he doesn't come back like fully mended, like I'm gonna be disappointed.
He'll come back with no love sausage. He'll be cut off, mate. He'll have its own
No.
entity.
No.
And then Shotgun Dan will be there crying. But
Yeah.
no, I'll have to go with the Night of Passion with Love Sausage. As much as I think Ashley would have a lot of energy about it, I just don't want anything shoved up my rectum. So no thanks. I'd rather have a Night of Passion with Love Sausage. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's like that scene. It's like that montage scene in Daredevil when. Sorry, not Daredevil. Sorry, Deadpool, where Ryan Reynolds is there, like, just nope. That would literally just be me. So like, nope, no chance at all. Nope.
Yeah.
I'll take Love Sausage. I'll take Love Sausage, man.
Yeah. Be a little spoon to Love Sausage.
Hang on a minute, Dan. You haven't told us your answer.
Mate, I'm the games master. I don't give answers.
No,
I give the questions, mate. I give the questions.
Give us your answer. Give us an answer.
I'm creating the Honor Day podcast out of context because I've just got a great clip here of Hoss being like, "I love sausage," and it's just going to be that.
Oh, please do that. Please feel free to create that account.
Mate, honestly, I have.
I don't know how many followers it will get, but
I have really good clips of Hoss, like from Morbius, when he goes, because man drinks blood like a froob, and then just goes.
It's all right. I can dig about 20 clips of Declan's really bad hot take opinions that could literally just destroy his entire career.
Well, don't worry.
This diss track, I've got to say, man, this diss track, all right, it started off as one project, but honestly, there was that many. There was that many. I made a sequel to it, so the sequel basically is going to drop when I actually start making videos.
Nah, it's like the Snyder Cut. It doesn't exist.
No.
Yeah,
You've been threatening me with this diss track for years.
If you're not careful, I will send my bots after you. The bots will do the magic for me. We all know.
I am the bots.
You're not the bots.
I am the bots. We established this earlier.
Yeah, you're a robot with your opinions. That's about it, lad. You're not an actual bot helping me with this. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, don't worry.
Just remember. You said Irish season 4 was better than season 8. You gave season 1 of Iron Fist an A+. You gave Overdrive a B+. You gave Justice League the actual cut a B+. I can list them off.
I was like 16 back then, by the way.
I don't care. They were still shit opinions back then. They still are now. And they're
you're
still
only
on
like-
your channel. And you've never
only like
even bothered to
17
take
now,
them
Dad.
down.
He's
only
also
aged about. He's only aged about one.
channel.
He's only aged 1 year in those 5 years, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
He looks the same anyway.
He's also probably got a secret channel where he gave Morbius like 10 out of 10. Yeah.
It
wouldn't
yeah.
surprise me.
No,
Nah,
7.8
you
out of 10. Not enough more.
You haven't seen the amount of copies of Morbius I've bought on Blu-ray.
I swear, if you've actually bought it,
More
Dex,
trillion. More
You
trillion.
better-
Did you actually buy it? Did you
Yeah,
actually
no.
buy it?
I've bought more trillion. More billion. More billion.
hey. Oh, dear.
I am a more billionaire.
I would only buy the Blu-ray of that if it came with a steelbook cover of Matt Smith just dancing in that little bedroom, and it was like one of them ones where you turn it, it's like got
It's a
different position as he's dancing. I was like, if that was the case, I would buy it. But until that happens,
think about it. If you buy Morbius on Blu-ray, you can watch that scene in its HD glory forever.
yeah, but I could also just watch it for free on Open Load Films. So you know
Yeah,
what
we'll
I mean.
have the internet down.
Just YouTube, or just go on TikTok.
Exactly,
and just type
YouTube,
in
yeah.
Milo
Or
Dance.
just listen to the banging tune on Spotify, which literally just the only English words are
Yeah.
have sex throughout the entire song.
Yeah.
Like, why is this on a PG-13 movie? Who thought this was a good idea?
Yeah.
Did they not read
The
the lyrics?
Lord
when
that
they
is
did the
Avi
song?
Arad. He knows.
Did you see when the lyrics of that song got put online, but someone like jokingly changed them? So apparently the lyrics were like, "I shit my pants, have sex, have
Yes,
sex,
yes.
I shit my pants, I shit my pants." And I genuinely actually got confused and had to Google it. I was like, "Nah, this can't be real." Yeah,
No, if in Morbius, it might have been.
yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Do you have any other questions in the game, or is that the only one?
I did have one involving an octopus.
No.
I'm intrigued.
I mean, it was literally, would you rather milk a cow for 24 hours consecutively or just or actually, no, hang on, I've got this one. All right. Would you rather fuck an octopus one time and nobody will know that you did it, or never fuck an octopus, but everyone thinks you did?
I don't even know where to go with that.
Oh, I love this so much.
What do I even say?
Well, do you know what? I would fuck the octopus because you only live once. You only live once, man. You've not
do it
lived
once
until you
and
try the most
nobody
random
knows.
things. Exactly. 'Cause
Nobody
no one will
knows.
know. No one
Yeah.
knows.
I mean, realistically, if I have this diss track going out against me and all these hot takes that I apparently have, what more is it going to hurt to me if people think I fucked an octopus? I'm sure people think a lot worse.
There you go, folks. You heard it here first. Declan McKinney fucked an octopus.
And I do it again.
It's Octo time. As Declan just unzips his pants. Oh, dear.
Oh no.
Us. I feel it. I think I'm actually feeling broken. Us. He's done.
I'm trying not to wake up my parents from laughing.
Ask them. Oh, can we get them involved? Can we ask them the questions?
No, because they'll just think you're
Hoss.
crazy.
Hoss, go into
Crazy.
your parents' room with your phone right now and ask them.
I can't ask them about these things. They don't even watch The Boys. My dad watched the first 3 cunt words come out of Billy Butcher's mouth. He's just like, no, I'm not watching this show.
Go and
Can't
ask your
tolerate this
dad,
language.
would he rather fuck an octopus? Would he rather stare at a mollusk in the face and bang it? Or would he rather think that people like, or would he rather live the rest of his life with his wife thinking that he fucked a mollusk? I want to know the answer.
I'm not asking him this question. This is a.
Well, ask them then. Would they rather be pegged by a rainbow dildo, or would he rather?
Declan, text your girlfriend right now and ask her what if she'd rather do
She's literally just texted me saying this game scares me.
Wait, is she watching it?
She's watching this. She's been watching it
Hey,
the whole
Dex
time.
girlfriend. Hello. Declan fucked an octopus.
Well, hang on, Alessia. Now, given the fact that you are watching, please text me your answer to the question.
Yeah. Text us it. Yeah.
We would very much like to know now. While we wait for
Oh,
Ross to
amazing.
ask his parents the question.
I'm not answering
That's how
the
I've
question.
never-
They're currently fast asleep because it's 20 past 12.
Wake them
Yeah.
up. These are important questions.
No.
I love how I'll probably never meet Hoss's parents, but if you did ask that question, they would never want to meet me. And likewise, your girlfriend now, Deck, if she ever saw me at a con, she'd probably run off. Yeah.
So she's already texted me back. So her response. So this is in response to the octopus question.
Yeah.
Her response is, and I quote, "Just fuck it, innit."
See, you just.
I'm
do it.
taking notes.
Yeah.
Apparently, I
Declan's
need
gonna
6
have a
extra
nice
legs.
Yeah, Declan's just found a new game to play, or a new way to spice it up. So yeah, you're welcome, mate. There you go. Yep. My invite
my
to the
own
wedding is in the
Herogasm
post,
this
isn't
weekend.
it? Oh dear. Yeah. Amazing.
And on that bitter disappointment, it's time to end.
Yeah. We won't bother telling you when the next one is because we never know when the next one is. We don't know what show it's ever going to be. I'm pretty sure we said we were going to do one about 4, but that isn't going to happen. Even though I really do want to hear Hoss's takes on.
Yeah,
4.
I'm not going to lie. After
You're
sort of getting hinted at simmering rage, I kind of want.
No. I'll let you in on juicy gossip. I actually did record a rant video regarding Thor: Love and Thunder, so don't worry. You'll be seeing the return of Angry Hoss. Angry Hoss will be making his triumphant return.
Nice.
To probably like no views at all, but I don't care because that film pissed me off watching it.
Yeah,
Was it just because there was no
got
Christopher Eccleston in it?
Pardon?
Was it just because there was no Christopher Eccleston in it?
No, it's just because you know what, lad? It's just like
there was
it's
probably
just a bit
somebody that's been in Doctor Who in it.
No. It's just a bit shit, isn't it?
Oh dear. Yeah.
Is it not just a bit shit? I mean, come on. Would you ever go back and rewatch that film?
Yeah.
I might be going next week.
Well, to quote Obi-Wan himself, well then you are lost. You are lost, child. No one wants to go back and watch that movie.
And I feel like that is the best way to end. So, what do you guys think? Make sure you answer the questions in the comment section below. Would you rather fuck an octopus or have everyone think you fucked an octopus? I'm very intrigued to know. And also, more importantly, let us know what your thoughts were on The Boys Season 3. And where do you think it stacks up amongst the other seasons? And stay tuned to the channel for more content. I've got a new setup at the minute, so hopefully some more content will be coming soon. Probably not, though.
What's happening with that plan to make this an On Thy Podcast channel?
I don't know what the plan is for my life at the minute, so don't ask me questions like that. God knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, all I'd say is just stay subscribed because it's cool. You're a part of the club then.
Yeah.
You might not get anything out of it, but
it's
cool though. And with that said, I think it's time to end. So we'll see you next time.
Bye. I've been Love Sausage, Shotgun Dan. Yeah, see you later, cunts. And all that.